Today.
Looking forward to talking to her. Joey Stinks, my brother.
What'd you do last night?
I went to my kid's choir concert, first grade music concert, They do a whole program. The only thing that surprised me was the guy who sat behind me. I was stunned to see this outfit choice. There's a guy who sat behind me. He was like a couple seats over and one row behind me. He wore a shirt to a first grade music concert that read,
"Oh no,
F this S, I'm getting high."
Sibling or something.
Parent. He also reeked of weed. So he was true to his.
You guys a photo of a shirt. I don't know. What was it? Maybe 2 weeks ago. At a restaurant, a guy sitting at a bar. I'm not going to show on camera. I don't think I can, but
I don't know on camera. You might.
It said, "Googled my symptoms. Turns out I just need a BJ," is what it said. That was a shirt a guy was wearing. And
there was one in Pittsburgh,
that was at least at
that
was at least at a restaurant. Wearing that to a first grade play or choir concert I'm surprised they let him in.
I just hey, there wasn't one person come on, man. Just not to the kids.
Top text says, "Must have been Ryan Witkowski." Shout out to Ryan. Man. Yeah, that's bad. That's bad. Okay, what did your wife say to that?
Oh, she just, I didn't tell her until after. I think she missed the shirt at first, and then she confirmed what I had confirmed. She's like, "Well, it did smell like weed, so that makes sense." And I was like, "Yeah, it did." But also, again, part of it is just if I was walking out of the house. We've all done this, Gold, where you think for a half a second, you're like, all right, this is the place I'm going. If you're in a t-shirt, you're like, is this acceptable? Do I need to put something else on? Is this okay? You changed shirts before we went out on Friday. Is this the shirt I want to wear? Do I want, and nothing crazy, just a quick mindful check of, should I wear the shirt that says, F this S, I'm getting high? Well, Poppy wanted to go to the first grade music concert. I mean, we're only there a half an hour, but just throw a different shirt on. Other than that, it was fine. I laid pretty low last night.
Is your kid friends with the kids, the dad's kid?
I couldn't tell. I didn't see him leave, so I didn't see the connection.
Because that would be great.
Boy, that would have been. Oh man, could you imagine? I walk outside and that's who he's talking to.
Someone's saying you should have said something. No, Cody can't say anything in that spot. What is he going to do?
In a crowd full of people,
going to say? Hey man,
fight with this guy?
What is Cody going to say? Hey, I don't think you should be wearing that shirt to my kid's choir concert. Could you imagine? I would love to see that interaction on video.
Likely to get an ass kicking, I fear.
Probably.
It's hard to say. Sometimes, it doesn't go that
anyway.
way. But yeah, that was, I did that. What did you do? I didn't do anything.
It was kind of low key, just nothing really for the most. Watched some NBA playoffs last night.
Yeah, perfect.
That was about it. Really didn't do much. Just kind of we got back in town Saturday. And so yesterday was kind of just another catch up day on some laundry and some stuff like that. Pretty boring, quite honestly.
Yeah.
But tonight, we got Royals baseball. We got some more NBA postseason continues to be fun. I forgot last night, apparently the WNBA was in town, which we knew when they announced it, but I feel like there was no buzz going into it. We'll get to that a little bit. But let's start with the Chiefs. And I know yesterday we talked about the theme of the draft, clearly all in on defense for the Chiefs. What does that mean? Is it a 1 year, 2 year plan, whatever it might be? Let's focus in on the wide receiver group for a second here. And we know they did not take a wide receiver until the 5th round. It feels like most people now believe they have to go out and get a veteran before training camp, before the start of the season. And I agree with that. I think the obvious name we all know is Tyreek Hill, that the Chiefs, you keep checking in with Tyreek Hill, find out how he's doing physically. Where's he at? We all know he wants to come back to Kansas City. I think contract-wise, it's way more feasible than a Jawan Jennings type who is still out there as well. So I think they will still sign a veteran, and maybe it is Tyreek Hill before training camp or during training camp, and then have that guy, if it's Tyreek Hill, maybe not available till the middle of the season. That to me is their plan moving forward. Also, it is set up, and they are banking on, and I know people can be skeptical about it. I'm just telling you it's very clear, I think, what their plan is. It's set up that they are leaning on the fact that Rashee Rice is not suspended, and it's set up in a career type of season with a contract year. That might be what they are counting on. And they may need that from him, by the way. If the wide receiver room is what it is right now, they are banking on Rashee Rice maybe having the best season of his NFL career. And I don't think it's that far-fetched. I understand the guy's got
the lowest bar for me. That's lower than expecting things out of Xavier Worthy, in my opinion.
I mean, Rashee Rice, we all know, has to stay out of trouble, has to stay healthy. Those are two valid concerns. It's both of those have popped up throughout his NFL career. But in terms of when available, I have very little concern, Cody, that he can't be an 1,100 plus yard receiver. And you can say, how can you say that? He's never been that. I'm telling you, if you can lock in that he's healthy, well, then I think none of us are questioning the actual performance level of Rashee Rice. You go back and look at his last, I think it is 12 games or whatever, I guess it would be 12 games. And he's on a well north of 800 plus 1,000-yard pace at this point. In fact, I think it was even, I don't know who it was on Twitter yesterday that went in and tried to extrapolate it out. I can find it again. The actual yardage numbers. I'm very confident he's going to have a big year. Last 12 games, 77 catches, 859 yards, and 7 touchdowns.
Yeah, so in his career, he averages 62 or 64.2 yards per game. That would be in a 16-game season. I'm not giving him a full 17 just because. Seems fair based on the fact that 16 games is the maximum number of games he's played in any individual year. That would be good for 1,027 yards. Over the last 2 seasons, he's averaged better than that, 71.5 yards per game. In a 16-game season, that would be 1,144. So, yeah, I don't think it's insane for the Chiefs to go into a season that says if Rashee Rice plays 16 games or more, we'll get 1,000 yards out of him. Because what type of free agent wide receiver you need is what I think is up for debate. And I think that all centers around the idea is, and I think that this is a more than fair question. It's not, and it's not even to be a knock. It's not to say he's a bad NFL player or he has no skills or value. He has spent 2 full seasons in the NFL. He has been hurt for 3 of the 34 available games, so he's mostly been available. Now, he was injured a good chunk of last season. He got hurt early, came back and had to play hurt. Lots of guys play hurt, so that's part of the deal. And he has averaged half of what Rashee Rice averages. He averages 37 yards a game is it. And so if Rashee Rice is this, which is exactly what Mecole Hardman pretty much averaged his first 2 years in the NFL, well, then you definitely need another veteran wide receiver. Without question, need another veteran wide receiver. And so I think a lot of their plan of, let's just hope Xavier Worthy is good, is I wouldn't go into the plan with that. If your plan is Rice will be a 1,000-yard wide receiver, fine. If your plan is Rice will be a 1,000-yard wide receiver and Xavier Worthy will be an 850-yard wide receiver, I don't like your plan anymore. And so, that's where the veteran wide receiver thing comes into play. And why you and I both think it's just going to end up being Tyreek, but it could end up being a number of guys.
And what are they going to actually allow to find out if Tyquan Thorne is more than just what he looked like last year, which was just, hey, we're going to throw it deep down the field, and that's the only opportunity we're going to give him. We're not going to even really allow him in any other route tree other than that. And then when Rice came back, we all know he barely got the football. Now, them bringing him back and him currently being, the number 3 wide receiver for this team, I think he'll get more opportunity. But there's a question mark, a massive one around Tyquan Thorne as well, whether or not he can be more than what he was a season ago. I'm just saying, I think the Xavier Worthy part, no doubt. Year 3, this is a make or break type of season for his career. I think we're going to find out way more about what he actually is capable of doing, and we'll get our definitive answer because, as you said, he was hurt from week 1 on. That's not an excuse. That's just reality. He was hurt all last season. So I want to see a fully healthy Xavier Worthy season from the get-go. In year 3. And it'll tell us a lot. Someone on the text line, this is what I guess I'm confused of where people are at with Rashee Rice. I think you've said it. I have said it. I don't have any interest in giving him an extension. However, I don't get this text. Someone said, what's the point of leaning in on feeding Rashee enough touches for a career type of year? What's the upside? You're not keeping him past this season. Zero chance for me that should happen. Those are 2 different things. We can sit here today and say, hey, I don't trust the guy or whatever, and I don't want them to give him a mega extension.
Still that team to be good.
But in 2026, I want them to get every ounce out of Rashee Rice this year. Now, will fans come around in January and convince themselves that they should give him an extension? I've told you I think that's probably what's going to happen from a lot of fans. But I think not wanting him to produce and have him be the main part of your offense because you don't think he's here long term, then what are we doing in 2026? What are you hoping this team is? For this offense to have any chance of being way better, yes, Ken Walker is going to help in a huge part of that, but Rashee Rice has to have one of his best seasons as an NFL player for this wide receiver room to work this year.
Yes, it does. And so, and again, just in general, I, want the Chiefs to be good because it's better for my job, better for the fandom, all the other stuff that comes with it. And the only way in which they're going to have a top-end offense or a competitive offense is to do that. Can I give you the list of the top 10 free agent wide receivers? You tell me Just a quick yay, like yes or no. I almost said yay or nay.
No.
You don't want to bring that back?
No, I don't want to bring
Are you sure?
Yay or nay
Drew
back.
doesn't even remember yay or nay, I don't think.
Nope.
We used to do something in the Chiefs Red Half Hour, and every once in a while I'd ask you about a player if you liked him, Drew, and I'd say, yay or nay!
I hated it.
They hated it. They always hated it.
The way that you said it, I think, is maybe why.
Exactly, Drew. Exactly.
Yay or nay!
Yeah.
It was very uncomfortable.
I'll say yes or no, and we'll keep this one simple and simple.
All right.
That's for the OG fans of this show who've been listening for 5+ years. Jawan Jennings.
Yes.
I want you to consider price, too, not just
Yes, I think price is why he likely doesn't come here. I know there's questions about him being a royal pain in the you-know-what, but I would still say yes. Yeah.
Tyreek?
Yes.
I think no on him. I don't like him as a person, and so I'm not really interested in being here.
Yeah.
He's coming off a devastating injury. Stephon Diggs?
No.
Okay, there's another person you might not like as a person, but he is the type. What's funny is different personality, and I might be more interested. They need, that type of reliability does interest me. Ayuk?
Absolutely not.
No, because I'm trying.
Does he quit football?
I'm saying no because nobody else has had any interest in him. And the question about does he want to play football? Does he actually love playing football? I'll go no on that one with Drew.
My guess is in fairness though, if there's a time in the Chiefs franchise to take a chance on Ayuk, it's now. In the sense that what you've said, maybe it's a 2-year plan. Maybe they're slow walking things. They don't they might be able to re-energize him. I'm a yes on Ayuk. I'm a no on Hill and Diggs.
Okay.
Debo, I'll give you 3 in a row. Debo Samuel, Keenan Allen, and DeAndre Hopkins.
No on Debo. I just think they have enough of, these type of role gadget type of receivers. And they have other, we've talked about how they can utilize Emmett Johnson and Ken Walker and Xavier Worthy. I just don't think they need to go the Debo route. He might be able to produce for somebody else. So I'm no there. You said Keenan Allen.
Brandon Cooks, and DeAndre Hopkins.
So I said no last year, and he had a nice season for the Chargers. In fairness, Bink was correct on that.
You have more information?
No is still the answer.
After you had a chance to change your mind.
He's a year older.
But he had a nice season.
He's another year older,
Keenan Allen is he would be genuinely near the top of the list for me.
Really? Still.
I only need 1 year of Keenan Allen.
Yeah.
He's 33 years old. He had 777.
No, he's 34 years old.
Fine.
Birthday was yesterday.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Happy birthday, Keenan Allen. He had 750-ish yards last year.
He did. He had a nice year.
That's, I don't want someone getting in the way of the wide receiver unit's development, but I definitely want another person you can rely on in the wide receiver room. So, that's where I run into the Brandon. I end up getting interested in all the older players. The Brandon Cooks, Keenan Allens, of the world become intriguing to me. Ayuk only because maybe there's the luck and he does actually want to
here's why I'm no
football,
on Brandon Cooks. To me, that's what Tyquan Thornton should be that.
Yeah, that's fair.
I
the style of play.
I don't need Brandon Cooks.
But then it's just the rest of them I'm not going to go through. Then it's just the Josh Reynolds, Juju Smith-Schusters of the world.
Bring Juju back. Let's go just to piss you off, Cody.
Again?
Yeah.
And then I can keep hearing about how he's such a great blocking wide receiver.
Hopefully that's what Jalen Royals develops into that role type of receiver.
If I let you, would you lock in 250 yards for Jalen Royals right now?
Yes.
Yeah, same. Would you lock in 150?
No.
Okay. So I set the number right. I'm just curious what number
would you rather. So this
accept.
person on the text line wants to they're pitching. I know that's free agent stuff, but would you do a trade instead? Would you trade Rashee Rice and a pick for George Pickens today?
I gotta pay
knowing he wants to get paid.
George Pickens is another problem child.
No, I wouldn't do that.
No.
Rice and a first-round pick?
No, he just said
a pick.
The
texter didn't say anything. I would assume, I don't know.
If it's first, but not interested.
I mean, Rice and let's say a third-round pick, plus I have to pay George Pickens,
I would do it.
I would want to see another year, and I know the price goes up. Same reason why the Cowboys are not willing to pay him. He's someone, no off-the-field issues, right? This is a different scenario. He has been fine off the field. On the field, also, I still wonder about the effort level and all that. Last year was a contract year from him. And he didn't get the contract, and the Cowboys are still not willing to pay him. I would expect fan base if you were to poll Chiefs fans, they would all say yes, or majority would say yes. Mm-hmm. So I'm probably in the minority here. I'll say no, but I'm guessing people disagree with me.
Can I ask what is your personal optimism of Xavier Worthy having a 700+ yard season on a scale of, or 800 yard season on a scale of 1 to 10?
7.5.
You said
man.
You said 800?
Yeah, you're way higher. I'm like a 3.
7.5. Call me, a worthy believer. I mean, for sure. I think last season was destroyed immediately for him. And in year 2, we did not get to see a healthy at any point, a healthy Xavier Worthy, coupled with the complaining. If we're going to all complain about the play calling and the scheme and Matt Nagy and all this and a wide receiver coach that had no business being a wide receiver coach, then why can I not use that to think that there is still plenty of upside in development for Xavier Worthy? I mean, at bare minimum, if the dude can know where the hell the sideline is at, that seems like a coaching adjustment right away. Where the hell is the coaching staff for that? I'm trusting Chad O'Shea for that element of it as well.
I still think that's more on Pat.
Maybe it's both, Drew.
Way more on
maybe
him,
it's
in my
both.
opinion.
And even more to the point why I'm not going to just blame it all on Xavier Worthy. So as an 800-yard receiver, 7.5 out of 10 chance of this. So 75% chance.
Okay. If you were to say 700, I would say 8.5.
So Drew and I are way more optimistic.
700, I'm like a 5.
700, I'm 8.5.
700, I'm like a 5 out of 10, and then 800, like a 3. And it's not even meant to be. It's just. It's following the almost direct McCole Hardman path. Like, where
I just think he's
now,
better.
Yeah,
now,
I know that he's better than
I think he's a better player. I know the stats aren't there, and eventually, look, that's why results are results. And so after year 3, if he has just the same type of numbers, then I can't really argue. But I just think there's a lot of reasons I can give you why we haven't seen peak Xavier Worthy yet or had an opportunity to. And I'm saying that this is going to be the year that tells us. And maybe I'm sitting here in January and he only has 600 yards and when 550 yards, we're like, okay, he's no different. I think it's more likely he's 750, 800-plus yards, and we say, okay, that's the guy they drafted. Now that he's got a legitimate wide receiver coach scheme, the offense has got a run game that allows them to have more success in the passing game, all that.
In fairness, year 3 is when I don't really make a lot of judgments unless you just are like awful. Year 3 to me is I'm done with, that's it. If he doesn't break out this year, he's never breaking out. Like, that's just kind of like, end of the line.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
Don't need to have any more conversation about, like, is the big year coming? It's not coming if it's not coming that year. Alec Pierce is a great example of that. He had 593 yards and 514 yards his first 2 years. Very, very similar to what Xavier Worthy did. 824 in year 3, 1,000 in year 4. So it's like the guys who eventually figured out, let's say they're just a little bit slower to the uptake, by year 3 is a big year in the we're sorting it all out. Speaking of guys who are sorting it all out, I will say one of the most positive signs, I think, out of the early part of the Royal season, and there aren't that many, admittedly, in the early part of the season, are Jack Caglione and Carter Jensen are reliable major league players. And because the Royals got off to a slow start, and for a while, Bobby, Salvi, and Vinny all weren't hitting for the team, although Bobby is now, although he finally got a home run, which was nice. Sal and Vinny still struggling. When you look at those Jack Caglione and Carter Jensen, if I had told you, Gold, from the pretty much start of the season, I did it since April 1st. Since the beginning of the season, Jack Caglione, 271, 354 on base, 7 extra base hits, 2 home runs, 4 RBIs, 7 walks. The 2 home runs are all in the last week. Carter Jensen since April 1st, 296, 383 on base, 918 OPS, 8 extra base hits, 6 home runs, 14 RBIs, and 9 walks. The Royals, in the long run, if they are going to make a comeback this season and get themselves back into playoff contention, we had said this before, Jack Caglione and Carter Jensen were incredibly important players, and important players that we had more questions about, versus Sal and Bobby and Vinny and the other guys we felt like we knew things about. This gives them at least a chance, I guess, at righting the ship. It's still a long shot at this point because they got 9 games under 500 or whatever it is. But the fact that Jack Caglione and Carter Jensen are playing this well, Carter Jensen's been incredible, especially the last 2 weeks. But Jack Caglione's been a solid baseball player. Now the home runs are starting to happen.
No, these were 2 players, go back before the season started, that we discussed that have to step up if this team is going to get to where they have been. Now it's happening kind of in reverse. These 2 players have been stepping up, still waiting overall for Salvi and Vinny, to step up. Now Bobby got one over the fence here recently. That's a good sign. I think we all know he will continue to get going as the season goes on. The player, that we will be more concerned about in a couple weeks if he hasn't jump-started things would be Vinny, because he's had the slow Aprils before, and then he's turned it on in May. If we're still talking about a slow start in the middle of May from Vinny, then I'll be more worried about bigger picture stuff.
Yeah, he started slow in April.
But the positive sign is that, Cags and Carter are both hitting. These were their 2 one outfield, 1 DH piece that needed to take a leap forward for this offense to get to where you want it to get. The fact that they're playing at the level they are, you're wondering just will the other guys catch up quick enough for them to salvage the slow start? they have a chance to salvage what looked like a disastrous April if they can take care of business in Sacramento starting tonight. They open up a series against the A's. They win the series, or if they find a way to sweep the A's, we're having a conversation about this team only being 3 games under 500, and I think that's a different feeling considering the way the month was looking. If you tell me they finished the month 3 under 500, that feels like a win with how ugly it was looking, just a week or so ago.
Yeah, I mean, again, it doesn't solve all of their problems, and the bullpen is still the single biggest issue on the team right now, especially because the offense is up and running, at least in the interim. And so, but they still need those, it was never going to be a playoff season without those guys contributing anyway. So sure, do they have to fix some other stuff and solve some other problems? Absolutely. But Jack Caglione and Carter Jensen also had to be good this year. And to this point, they've been good. Look, the disappointing part on Cags has been the lack of power so far, although he is only 1 or 2 extra base hits behind Carter Jensen. So I don't want to make it seem like he never puts the ball in play for extra base hits. He just hasn't hit nearly as many home runs as Carter Jensen.
So that's the offense. The only thing I would say with Carter Jensen is still defensively. So some of the numbers. So right now, Salvador Perez.
That's you can bring that with Carter too if you want.
That's what I'm saying.
Fastball stuff.
I meant to say Carter.
Oh, you said Jack. I thought.
Sorry.
I might have misheard.
Carter's who I meant. Either way, Carter's who I meant to say.
Carter's been fine.
Carter Jensen catching, right? So as a catcher, Salvador Perez, the team ERA when he catches is 3.48. Now he's also caught 129 in the third inning. Carter Jensen has caught 99 innings, 5.73 ERA, and then the Elias Diaz vet that they brought up, 6.6 ERA when he's catching in 3 games. Jensen, it's been 12 games. Salvi, it's been 15. You mentioned the pass ball the other night. So that's where defensively that is slower right now for Carter Jensen than the offense.
I think we can ask JJ Piccolo, who normally joins us on a Tuesday, but it'll be Wednesday this week because of the West Coast trip. It does seem like he's not as polished. But the one thing about that, Gold, is he's played 40 big league games. For this year, it might be a problem, but in the long run, I'd like to think they'll sort out whatever differences it is. And I got to be honest with you, this is just the way of life sometimes. And I've talked about this with the outfield a lot. If Carter Jensen hits like this and catches, I don't care if he's a bad defensive catcher. And and I'm not saying he is.
He'll be one of the best offensive catchers in baseball.
Bingo!
Yeah.
I won't care. I know that that's a hard thing to say, and I'm not even saying he is a bad defensive catcher, or at least will be in his entire career, even though he struggled. If he is a bad defensive catcher, but he hits 296 with a 380 on base percentage, I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. It will be a position in which you're getting that value out of the catching position, worth it. Whatever he's costing you in the run game, you got to accept. Now the problem is do you alienate the pitching staff because they don't want him to catch for him? And that's when you can run into some issues where eventually if a pitching staff starts feeling like Salvi calls a better game or we like the game he calls, certainly have him catch for Lugo because Lugo calls his own game.
Right.
Figure out a way to manipulate it.
We can talk more about it a little bit later on, what we're expecting in the series. Remember, the A's surprisingly first place right now in the American League West. They're 15-13. So this is not your same old A's from 3 years ago.
They got a lot of young talent.
Oh, it's absolutely
loaded
between Wilson and Kurtz. Not to mention some other piece in their pitching staff as well. So this is not a cakewalk type of series or anything like that. But the Royals are out west in Sacramento, soon to be Las Vegas A's. But we got 2 more years or another year of Sacramento A's? They're there for 1 more year or 2 more?
I don't remember.
I know they're building the stadium, obviously in Vegas. But anyway, up next, let's talk more about the Chiefs and what the Chiefs are doing at running back and one strategy that appeared to pay off for them. And you've got some thoughts on a general manager out west in the NFL. That's coming up right here on Cody and Gold.
You're listening to Cody and Gold.
We're going to try to tickle your tonsils.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Getting a little older doesn't have to mean, getting older. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if you're feeling low energy, can't sleep, can't lose weight, are struggling with brain fog, or your sex drive is off, it's time to change it up. At Heartland Men's Health, our advanced medical strategies featuring TRT, GH peptides, NAD+, GLP-1s, PDA, and more treat low T and other hormonal issues to help you shed pounds, have more energy, enhance your body composition, improve sleep, increase your sex drive, and so much more. Getting you back in the game again. So don't be older. Be stronger in the gym. Be sharper at work. Be better in the bedroom and be more confident in every part of your life. So call us today and find out how our advanced treatment strategies could change the game for you. Your first visit is just $99. It includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on one of our advanced treatment plans on the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
Future therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
What matters to you matters to us. That's why Busey Bank takes the time to understand your goals and build solutions that fit your story. From everyday banking to long-term planning, our team is here to help you navigate every stage with care and expertise. We're more than a bank. We're your neighbor, your advisor, and your advocate. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
Call Hamilton today for our $79 mainline drain cleaning special. The pros at Hamilton will inspect your drains with video camera technology to pinpoint exactly what is needed to clear those clogs and help prevent expensive drain repairs. The expert technicians at Hamilton are ready 7 days a week to solve your problem the right way, the first time. Over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 five-star reviews are great reasons to trust Hamilton. Visit callhamilton.com/radio for details, terms, and conditions. License number 2025-11121.
At Kansas City Proton Institute, we're delivering the future of cancer care with state-of-the-art proton therapy right here in KC. If you have breast, head and neck, or brain cancer, proton therapy may be a better treatment than conventional radiation. Don't wait. Get your second opinion at Kansas City Proton Institute. Come see Kansas City's largest, most experienced, and most advanced proton therapy team. Learn more at kcpi.com. Kansas City Proton Institute, where you see the best in KC.
Spring is here, and as the weather heats up, the sports action heats up at Circa Sports. From baseball to basketball to hockey, Circa Sports has it all. Circa Sports isn't just sports betting, it's sports betting the way it should be. High betting limits, player-friendly pricing, and exceptional customer service. Whether you're looking for playoff futures or props on your favorite players and more, Circa Sports has you covered. And don't miss out on the special Royals props for every game. Download Circa Sports app or visit circasports.com today. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
When your AC starts breaking down, AB May is here to help your house feel like a home again. Serving Kansas City for over 65 years, AB May handles it all from AC repairs and upgrades to indoor air quality. When it comes to your home, solved is our standard, and AB May is committed to doing things the right way every time. Trusted by generations. Call AB May at 913-383-2222 or visit abmay.com today.
Call your servicemen from AB May.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
Just hearing the word IRS can make people break out in a cold sweat. No one wants to deal with the IRS, and now you don't have to. The good news is Legal Tax Defense has been successfully negotiating with the IRS for more than 15 years. It doesn't matter how much you owe, whether it's $5,000 or $5 million. You deserve the best in the business on your side, and that is Legal Tax Defense. Even if you're working with someone else and just want a second opinion, there is no cost or obligation to call. They can prevent levies, liens, wage garnishments, even file back tax returns. And the best news about Legal Tax Defense is they won't take your case unless they know they will reduce or eliminate your tax debt. Call Legal Tax Defense right now for a free no-risk consultation. 800-323-8922. 800-323-8922. You have nothing to lose but everything to gain. 800-323-8922.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this. Hey, it's Rob Brennan. We hope you're enjoying Beyond the Pitch KC, a podcast on how Kansas City landed the world's biggest sporting event. It's presented by Commerce Bank. Visit commercebank.com/soccer26. New episodes released every Wednesday on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Back here on Cody and Gold, Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. One thing to keep an eye on later on today, Matt Norlander just sent out a tweet. Of course, Matt Norlander covers college basketball for CBS Sports. He said sources telling him Tyron Stokes, the number one prospect in the country for the class of 2026 in men's hoops, will finally announce his college decision today around 2:30 our time. That's so he put 3:30 Eastern. So 2:30 our time on ESPN's NBA Today. Stokes is deciding between Kansas or Kentucky. If you guys remember a few weeks ago, we were discussing the situation around that and the complications perhaps between Nike and Adidas. Kansas is an Adidas school. Kentucky's a Nike school. Stokes has a Nike NIL deal, and this thing is dragged on longer and longer. It seems like Oregon now is firmly out of the picture. The longer it goes on, some people thought that's good news for Kansas, but I don't know what to expect. Someone asked like how optimistic I am. Not like overly optimistic. I would say I'm cautiously optimistic that he comes to Kansas, but I do think the Nike Adidas thing needed to get worked out.
It's definitely something.
Did they? I hope so. Again, the longer this went on, I thought was better for Kansas, but I don't know what to. I mean, I would certainly not be betting money that he's going to Kansas. I'm not that confident or anything like that at all.
Yeah, you're just. I still think signs point to him being a Jayhawk, but we'll find out at 2:30. Then, of course, we'll talk about it tomorrow on the show. I will say you wanted to give Brett Veach some credit for something. When credit is due, we give it on the show, and then when you deserve to be buried, we try to do the same. But at least on this end, you and I and Drew, we spent a lot of time on this show talking about the plan at running back, the plan in the draft at running back, the signing of Ken Walker, and everything to go with it. And as the draft shook out, starting to look like Brett Veach probably made the right call on that one.
Yeah, I'm just wondering, for those that were hesitant about Kenneth Walker, and we got to see him produce and everything. I'm not saying that he doesn't have to hit certain benchmarks, but in terms of the decision, if for those that didn't like signing him in free agency and said just get your guy in the draft, or specifically Jeremiah Love, now that we've seen the draft, for starters, Jeremiah Love went number 3 overall. So the Chiefs were never getting Jeremiah Love. The other part, though, if you said, well, pivot to other running backs, clearly this was not a good running back draft class, according to the evaluators heading into it. Does it mean that somebody that was drafted other than Jeremiah Love can't go on to have a good NFL career? Of course they can. But look how many running backs were taken this year. It was not a good class. Entering the 7th round, there were only 10 taken going into the 7th round on Saturday. A year ago, 25 had already been taken.
That's also why they should have taken a running back last year. Not to revisit that. I think he whiffed.
Absolutely.
He whiffed last year, so I'm giving him credit, I guess, on this one.
Absolutely. Yeah, last year, I think we all were saying they should have not waited till the 7th round of the draft.
And we were right.
But when it comes to this particular offseason, I think the best path to address a position they had not really addressed in multiple years was free agency. And they went out and got the best available running back. And the maybe the best, if not, if you want to argue about it, the second best truly available running back, if you want to include the draft, depending on how you stack up Jeremiah Love and Kenneth Walker. So they to me went the best path. It cost them a lot of money, sure, but did you want them trading from 6 to 2 or from 9 to 2 or 9 to 3 to go get a running back? Because the Cardinals drafted Jeremiah Love. There was no scenario other than a trade up with the Cardinals or in front of them to go get Love. So they got the best available option and did not give up significant draft capital or any draft capital to get it.
I guess that's really the question. Even if I create a neutral situation in which I say, for whatever reason, the Cardinals wanted to trade with the Chiefs so bad, and because the Chiefs technically on the draft trade chart overpaid a little on the trade up to 6, let's just say the Cardinals hypothetically would take the same. I don't think they would, but it just makes the more neutral part of the argument the same. What was the alternative if they had gone the other way from Kenneth Walker? The alternative would have been trade up to 3, take Jeremiah Love. And in this case, I'm giving best case scenarios, and they only still give up 74 and a 5th round pick in order to do it. And then they'd still have their $15 million a year that they paid Ken Walker to sign who? Jalen Watson? Well, so their choice were Jeremiah Love, and realistically probably the 2nd round pick, not the 3rd like I'm giving it credit for, and a 2nd round pick and Jalen Watson, or Mansour Delane and Ken Walker. And it's like, well, I mean, if those are the choices, they made the right choice. There weren't good running backs available, and they got the best one. They paid him a lot of money because it's free agency. That's not a problem for me.
If they would not have signed Kenneth Walker, and let's say they would have gone, let's say the Tyler Algier route, and then we still felt like they needed to draft a running back on top of that. Again, the next running back off the board, also from Notre Dame, Jadarian Price went, 29, I think, or something like that.
Yeah.
Then Mike Washington Jr., Adam Randall, Desmond Claiborne, Le'Veon Moss, and then it was Emmett Johnson. I mean, it was not a great running back class. I think they addressed the position the best way possible in this given offseason. A year ago, the conversation, if Kenneth Walker was available then and had the same season, we might have all been saying, no, the draft, there's all this talent in the draft.
Yeah.
It was very clear they did not like the running backs, and most teams did not. Now, for Emmett Johnson, I hope he goes on and is a great player for the Chiefs as a pass-catching back, et cetera. But I would not have felt good if I told you they signed Tyler Algier, and it was Tyler Algier, Amari DiMercato, and Emmett Johnson.
I feel worse than last year's running back room, and I didn't even like last year's.
So they, to me, addressed it in a proper way, and I'm excited to see what Kenneth Walker can do.
Yeah, no, it's like, again, last year they were wrong. They missed, Gold. They missed. You and I had said it. Everybody could see it. Your running back room's no good. It's an incredibly deep, talented running back room. You could have gotten guys like Cam Scadaboo in like the 4th round. There were decent backs everywhere, every round, everywhere you looked. And you could have taken him at any time. This year, that wasn't the case. So, because now you knew for sure you needed a running back, where could you get one? Well, you looked in the draft and you told yourself, probably not there. Because the only truly great one is available at pick 3, and we're going to have to trade up to get him, or we can take a stab at one of the 10 guys that are draftable. I'm glad I'm even looking back, I'm even happier at the signing of Ken Walker. They didn't have another out.
It's funny, as we're talking about the running backs, I just literally saw this come across the timeline. Speaking to how they addressed it last year, which was not in an effective way. I know Kareem Hunt was effective. The Patriots just released running back Elijah Mitchell. Remember right before the draft last year, they had signed Kareem Hunt and Elijah Mitchell. Elijah Mitchell could never get on the football field anyway. The Patriots signed him this offseason, and they already cut him.
That didn't take long. I guess he just never had it. That was that was another mistake the Chiefs made. Had they identified the right free agent wide receiver, we probably wouldn't have bashed him. Or running back. Yeah. We probably wouldn't have bashed him so much for the job they did in the draft.
The Patriots did draft a running back in the 7th round this year. Jam Miller, which is a great name if you're actually a really good running
from Alabama.
Back.
That dude's a tank. He's like 6 foot, 230
so the name fits,
pounds.
is what you're saying. The name fits. I think Jam Miller. You can't
He's
be like you got to be a back that can obviously run over a couple.
I feel
people.
you got to be a fullback. I feel like
Jam
running
Miller
is not right.
Jam Miller, you're not going to think of somebody that's just quick.
Or a shutdown corner. Could a Jam Miller be like a physical corner?
Jam Miller. Oh man,
that's a great name for a physical corner.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be the only other position I would allow, I guess, if given the choice. Elijah Mitchell, that's probably it for him.
Somebody
he couldn't get on the field for the Chiefs. He
now?
already got cut by the Patriots. He's got to get close to 30.
I don't think he's 30 yet. Yeah, he's young. He's 27.
Oh wow.
What? Yeah, but by 30, that's 35 in running back years.
I know.
It's like dog years.
I think so. He turns 28 next month. Some team will bring him into camp, but yes, I think
he doesn't have
done.
mileage though, and he's just been injured. He doesn't have like running back mileage, if you will, on his body.
4 years in the league, 327 attempts, but he
had one really good season when McCaffrey got hurt, right?
Yeah, 2021.
It was great.
2021.
But like, what a liar!
That was 5 years ago.
I'm never signing anybody who runs for Kyle Shanahan. Never. He creates liars out of all of them. They just look good no matter who they are.
Because of his scheme.
Yes, the scheme's so good it doesn't even matter who you are. You could be one of the worst running backs in the league. You'd look good in that scheme. So it's like I'm not getting lured into that trap. I've made that mistake before, at least on that end. That's the other part, as we talk about the draft and the other stuff. Can I sidestep to a different team in the NFL for a moment and talk a little bit about what's going on in San Francisco?
Who are you about to hate on?
John Lynch.
No, I knew
someone who I've given.
I knew you were about to hate on somebody.
You can feel the hate building up in me a little bit. Feels like a while since I've just trashed somebody. John Lynch has lost it. Man's off it. I don't even know how to put it. He, at this point, is doing so many consistently insane things. I don't even know where to start. One, he's openly begging for somebody to take Ayuk from him. But then he made what I think is a horrid misstep, Drew. And then he sat in his pre-draft press conference and essentially openly admitted to typing in, "Who should I draft?" into Chat GPT.
Come on, man.
And saying that that's what he goes with instead of like, I don't know, evaluating actual players. So this year they did an evaluation of draft over expected draft value based on like a general consensus inside the NFL.
Like, right?
Yeah, reaches. Do you know where they finished? Dead last. And not by a little, by a lot. They were the highest ranked team in that category by a mile.
They did take Dejon Sterling, who was projected, I think, to be a 4th-round pick in the 33rd.
Yeah.
First pick in the second round.
Alex and I looked at each other in the middle of that one. This man has shifted over to AI. He can't keep players on the field. Like, I just think whatever magic he had, it's gone. And John Lynch has got about 12 months left on the job. And I don't think he's going to be doing the job for the 49ers.
You should not admit that. I would.
That was a while. You should never admit that you're typing that into ChatGPT, even if you're doing
that.
It.
Yeah.
Even if Gold. I don't care what the
Every
circumstance
team is
in your
probably
life.
using some form of AI to go about their mock draft process, et cetera. But so I think, you know what I mean? Like, I think every team is utilizing AI in some form or
You know
fashion.
what we're doing tomorrow? The show tomorrow, Cody Gold tomorrow, will be brought to you by AI.
I don't even
outsource whatever service you want to use. We will plug in topics and let
Oh
ChatGPT
my God, what a miserable
figure out the show tomorrow.
Could you imagine if we let ChatGPT do it? Can it be a Royals day game? Can we save that for when we have a 1-hour
Let's
show?
do that randomly in June.
Yeah,
we'll do that randomly.
June?
Design the
we'll
show.
say ChatGPT, what's a good Royals topic today, and we'll just see what happens.
Yeah, I'll do. If we got a 1-hour show or a 2-hour show, I'll let ChatGPT decide it. Drew, I don't even outsource the random question to ChatGPT.
The problem is with the Royals topic, we're just going to get stuff about the royal family, which led to today, where on lower thirds of television stations across the country, it said, the Royals are awaiting, or White House awaiting to welcome the Royals. And of course, that is low-hanging fruit for Royals jokes about winning 4 or 5 games. But that's the issue with the ChatGPT Royals topic, Cody. It's going to think we're talking about the royal family.
Well, let's look up ChatGPT. I'm going to ask it, what would a good topic on the Kansas City Royals? I wanted to make sure that it was right.
Wait, we're doing it today?
For sport, I just want to see what it said. We're not actually doing it. I just wanted to see what it would answer. All right, here you go. Okay. Here are the topic suggestions from ChatGPT. This is why John Lynch is an idiot. 1, are the Royals actually ahead of schedule? In what way? They're actually actively behind. Is the rebuild already working? They're already past the rebuild, ChatGPT. What the hell are you talking about? They're supposed to be winning now.
You sound angry at
Who is the true
ChatGPT.
Topic number 2. Who is the true face of the franchise right now? Oh, that's a real mystery who that could be. Who do you think it is, Gold? I swear to God, these are the actual answers. I'm not even making it up. John Lynch is entrusting this to make NFL draft picks. He said, you can center around Bobby Wood Jr., but open it up. Has he officially taken the torch? From who? Oh, all right. What's more real, the pitching or the hitting? Is the rotation legit or smoke and mirrors? Are the bats consistent enough to carry this team? That's at least closer to what the team's actually like. And then number 5 is, what's the biggest thing that could derail this season? Injuries, young players regressing,
Look, I know we're
strength?
I know we're joking about this.
John Lynch choosing AI?
Yeah, but like, and obviously you're having fun with it, which is cool. I would say, if we're being realistic about it, it's John Lynch is not typing in a ChatGPT, who should I pick at pick 30 in the draft?
It's a more complicated algorithm.
They probably have there's probably some company out there that is,
plug in some numbers
that has
analytics,
is selling software and to teams to help them go through to weigh different players and different scenarios and things like that. He's not literally typing into ChatGPT, what running back might be available at pick 24 to 31, and should we trade up? And it says, yes, you should, and I guess we'll do it. Like, that's not what's happening.
ChatGPT told Brett Veach to trade up to 6 to get Mansour
But
the
yes,
lane.
there
exactly
are definitely issues with AI, but I don't think it's to the extreme of people freaking out about John Lynch using it.
John Lynch using it more than any other guy in the league, and then
we don't know that to be a fact.
I mean, he says he uses it more than anyone else.
No, he says if you aren't using it, I think you're behind.
I think
I would say it depends on how
much.
this draft class. How did the draft classes pan out? He should ask ChatGPT what to do with Brandon Ayuk.
Man, I briefly typed in I host a sports radio show in Kansas City. What are some of the topics I need to host a show today? I don't think we'd like to win this show very much. For starters, there is an NBA topic, which I don't think any of you are interested in, unless I've been missing something. I like following the NBA, but every time we talk about it on the show, we get blank stares.
Yeah.
So, just curious. But that's the point. We'll do that maybe later in the year. But yeah, I genuinely think that sometimes I think when you're searching for answers and things haven't, and like they have been a consistent organization on the whole, but they're hurt. The drafting stuff, they have been a bad drafting team in the first couple of rounds the last few years. they've been struggling with it more than some others. And so, like, if this has really been a part of his plan, at some point, how do you not? It's like anything else. It's like, don't let it write the entire paper. You want to look something up. That's a slightly different conversation. But, like, it just seemed like a weird thing to admit for me. I don't, and I understand that other people and organizations are using stuff.
I mean,
I would
say,
I'd come on a podium and say,
no, I
use it
understand
all the time.
Yeah, I just think it's utilized way more than we think in sports already. That's all.
For player evaluation?
For everything. I mean, for everything. I mean, yes, for draft, for player evaluation, whether it literally is talking about, the financial side of things, whether it's using AI inside your marketing department. I bet you these teams are using it all over the place.
Oh, man, I've looked at the last first, second, and third rounds for the 49ers.
Yeah, they haven't drafted well. That's not the debate. But I don't think it's because they've used AI for 4 years.
Well, I don't know how long they've been doing it. But the funniest draft is 2023, in which they did not possess a first or second round pick. And their first 3 picks were a safety, a kicker, and a tight end I've never heard of.
That's right, because they took Jake Moody in like round 5 or 4.
No, the third. What? They took him in the third.
That screams ChatGPT, hey, man, you want to win some games? You got to get this kicker early before anybody else does.
It really does.
That selection does scream that.
I know I could have saved that later for our old 32,
That's right.
But, I wanted to talk about it.
Something else, though, that continues to have a new update every single day is this whole Diana Rossini, Mike Vrabel scandal. Everybody by this point is probably caught up for the most part with where we're at. The latest, though, was people on the internet will always find
they started sleuthing.
And so some people were digging on Spotify and found Diana Rossini had made a playlist on Spotify called Turnin' the Page that she shared with a user named Mike. Could be a million Mikes, Cody, or on December 19th, 2022, which just happens to coincide with a 4-game Titans losing streak. The playlist stinks. Drew is playing a couple of the songs from it.
Stinks?
Some of the songs do.
Yeah, the playlist is not great.
Some of the songs do stink.
Well, I like a couple of the songs on there, I think. But
how about this is a deep dive? Diana Rossini and Mike. Now, since then, this public playlist has been deleted.
No surprise.
It has.
Which
because
to me,
you got to
leave it up at this point. Like deleting it is even more suspicious.
You got to get all
that
that stuff off the internet. I think the part of the biggest question about it is half of these songs are like, "Hey, hype you up. Here's some Def Leppard, Welcome to the Jungle by Guns N' Roses," and the other half are clearly about sex. So like Cuff It from Beyonce. I mean, that's not even like, we're not even trying to hide what that is about. I would say the issue with this playlist is it seems like, based on its look, her suggesting half music that she likes, that she thinks he should listen to, and half the music she's pretty sure he likes, which is Papa Roach, Guns N' Roses,
they just do random
Def
shuffle?
Leppard, and Kiss.
They just do random
which just feels like a
shuffle?
Mike Vrabel playlist.
Yeah.
So you're saying both contributed to this.
And then they just do random shuffle when they're hanging out.
Yeah.
That's a weird mix, though, man. You can't
What's
go
this?
from
Which one
Van
is this?
Halen to...
This one right here is My
Lotto.
Love. Is My Love.
Some of these you can't even play the unedited version. You have to keep it to the instrumental, man. We're going to get in real trouble. This thing gets worse. I mean, by the way, worse every day in the sense that they clearly were just in a relationship for 6 straight years.
Yeah, this was not just a one-time thing. This was numerous years.
It's
and you don't even know to look for something like that until you know to look. Nobody was bothering looking up her Spotify playlist shares until it mattered.
But she has apparently scrubbed her Spotify account entirely. So her Twitter account's been deactivated, her Spotify account's been deactivated. Meanwhile, Mike Vrabel's out here going to 1 day of therapy, then coming back. Yeah, it's interesting.
I don't know if it's real. I saw that he had bought his wife a apology gift, I believe, and it was
there were photos of him somewhere in Utah.
Hoodie.
Yeah, somewhere in Utah, he was shopping, and someone got a photo of him shopping around the same time that he was away, and they're assuming it was a gift for his wife.
Yeah,
I will say, and we knew it was disingenuous anyway, but if you had any question about if Mike Vrabel really feels bad or was being disingenuous, that man sent out one statement and then held a, minute-long press conference on during the draft, in which he said, family and football, and family first. I want to make that very clear. My family needs me right now. That's why I'm not going to be available for Saturday. I want to be clear. He worked Thursday and Friday. He took one day off of work on Saturday, and then he was back at work.
Jonathan Jones did tweet out just
and he worked on Saturday. He said he was in call all the time.
Jonathan Jones did tweet out within this hour. He said, to clear up some internet confusion, it was never the plan for Vrabel to attend one day of therapy and not go back. It is a process. He was gone Saturday. He's back with the team now. He'll be gone and return again in the future.
I mean, it's some sort of counseling for sure. Obviously, it's not just a one-time thing.
So that was the latest there. Also,
yeah, but couldn't do it for 2 days, a week?
Well, that might be the thing. He might be going every Saturday or something. I don't know. I mean, it could be.
He's not going to not work. He's not going to go away from work for a month straight, I guess, is what they're saying.
Yeah, it might just be on like if there's a day to miss, maybe it's a Saturday, and you take the Saturday and you go once a week.
I think there's a big difference between. You're right. Nobody, even if they're in the middle of a divorce or anything that's going on, is taking a month off of work. He didn't even take a day. The one day he said, the reporting said he was on the phone with the Patriots the entire day. He didn't take a day off. He didn't take an afternoon.
Why are you yelling? So what are you? Are you all right?
Just angry.
Yeah, you're very angry.
John Lynch and Mike Vrabel?
Lynch.
Jeez.
Actually, in fairness, I wasn't mad at Lynch. I was just making fun of him. I was mad at ChatGPT's awful suggestions. And that anger continued after.
Real quick, just a logistical update. Matt Norlander clarified a tweet he just sent. Remember, Tyron Stokes is going to announce. He just sent out a new tweet, said, source texted to clarify after initially communicating that the number one prospect will announce whether it's Kentucky or Kansas at 2:30. That will now be 5:30 on ESPN inside the NBA with Ernie, Shaq, Charles, and Kenny. So
let's go.
They bumped up so we got to wait till prime time now.
Big time.
5:30. It's not going to happen at 2:30 anymore. 5:30, and he gets a prime spot there with Kenny.
I say that this is also why you target top players like this? It is if you are Kansas and he selects you, it is a free commercial for your program on the single biggest NBA pregame show in the middle of the playoffs that exists. Like, the intrinsic value of whether the team succeeds or not, that's a whole nother part. But for Kansas, it's always worth it as a university.
I kind of wish that somehow North Carolina, Auburn, or LSU were in the running so you could get a reaction of disappointment or elation from Kenny, Shaq, or Charles if they would have...
if one of their teams was in it?
If one of their schools was selected, but they're not.
Okay, so 5:30 tonight.
Nor is Ernie's.
We'll find out whether or not Stokes is going to Kansas.
All right, coming up next, we get to the 11 o'clock hour. We'll get back into the draft process, what people were wondering about the back end of the draft due to college NIL, and what are the very early expectations for this Chiefs offense? That's next.
What's up, KC? It's Carter Jensen. You're listening to Cody Gold on your home for Royals baseball, 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. 96.5 The Fan.
New treatments for joint pain are here. By now, you've heard about regenerative medicine. If you're wondering if you're a good candidate, answer these questions. First, does chronic pain in your knees, hips, shoulders, or other joints keep you from doing the things you enjoy? Golfing, jogging, time with the family. Does it hurt doing the things you need to do, like getting out of bed, sleeping, working, and walking? And finally, do you want to avoid surgery and all of the pain, long recovery, and uncertainty that comes with it? If you answered yes to any of those, you need to call QC Kinetics now. Learn about exciting advancements in regenerative treatments that can give you long-lasting pain relief with no drugs, no surgery, and no downtime. Get your free consultation today. Call QC Kinetics. That's QC Kinetics. Here's the phone number.
Call now, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299.
Hi, I'm Lacey, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. And yes, I'm actually a jeweler. I bring dream engagement rings to life every day in our jeweler workshop. When I hand set your diamond into your ring, I think about creating a piece you'll wear for a lifetime. I pay attention to the smallest details and treat every ring with the same care and craftsmanship, no matter the size or price. Come see us in store. Shane Company engagement rings are crafted with care from our hands to yours. Because a friend wants your ring to be nothing short of perfect. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Lowe's has the brands pros trust to get the job done. You can now shop new Catalyst fencing solutions and save big when you do. 10% off when you buy in bulk. Plus, save $180 on a DeWalt 12-inch dual bevel sliding compound miter saw. Now just $449. Our best lineup, is here at Lowe's. Valid through 5/6 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Hi, I'm Carter.
And I'm Charlie. We'd like to share a quick story about a homeowner named Jack.
Jack had a home he needed to sell fast.
And Jack thought he had it all figured out.
So Jack talked to multiple cash buyers.
Jack chose the highest offer.
But the day before closing, guess what? The buyer backed out,
leaving Jack with the moving truck all packed in the driveway and not sure what to do.
Jack learned the hard way that the highest offer isn't always the right offer.
Jack got suckered.
Make sure you aren't hung out to dry.
Call our dad at Rex Buys KC.
Our dad is local, he knows Kansas City, and he actually closes deals.
No repairs, no fees, no showings, no surprises.
Just a fair cash offer and a smooth process.
Now, don't be like Jack.
Call 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com.
Rex Buys KC, helping people make smart choices one home at a time.
You know that Big Bargain detergent jug is 80% water, right? It doesn't clean as well.
80% water? I thought I was getting a better deal because it's so big.
If you want a better clean, Tide Pods are only 12% water. The rest is pure, concentrated cleaning ingredients.
Oh, let me make an announcement.
Attention shoppers, if you want a real deal, try Tide Pods.
Stop paying for watered-down detergents. Pay for clean. If it's gotta be clean, it's gotta be Tide Pods. Water content based on the leading bargain liquid detergent.
Having insurance isn't the same as having State Farm. It's like needing a best man speech, but getting one from some random plus one.
I am honored to be standing here today, also confused and a little hungry. Does anyone want to switch entrees? Pretty sure I checked beef.
You wouldn't settle for just any speech, so don't settle for just any insurance. Get the real deal with State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Dell PCs with Intel inside are built for the moments you plan and the ones you don't. For the time you forgot your charger at the gate.
Passengers, we are now on our initial ascent.
Or when you're bouncing between projects like a ping pong ball. We build PCs with long-lasting battery life, so you're not scrambling for an outlet. And built-in intelligence, so you can stay focused on whatever you're doing. Dell Technologies, built for you. Dell.com/Dell PCs.
If you own a small business, the pressure never lets up. Something's always coming at you. That's why business owners turn to LendSeek for funding.
I don't need promises. I need options. LendSeek's AI platform showed me real funding choices. Now I can cover payroll, handle taxes, and go after growth opportunities without the daily stress.
Up to $5 million with funding in as fast as 24 hours. No upfront costs. No prepayment penalties. Start ready, stay ready. LendSeek.com. LendSeek.com.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
Turns out, talk isn't cheap. Just talking about affordability doesn't make things affordable. Straight Talk's had the same price since 2009. Plus, their Gold plan includes a Walmart Plus membership and $20 in Walmart cash when you activate. That's more than just talk.
Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straightforward, always. Valid through May 17, 2026. $20 in Walmart cash for Straight Talk Gold or Platinum Plan customers newly enrolling in Walmart Plus. Limit 1 per enrollment and account. Same price claim applies only to base monthly price of the $45 Straight Talk plan, beginning October 2009.
Make sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel to watch all your favorite shows, shorts, and clips. This is your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan, KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
11 o'clock here on Cody and Gold. Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. You guys can always hit us up on the Jay's Southland Tow Service text line, 913-586-7965. Of course, video stream also up and running, YouTube, Twitch, X, and Facebook. We'll get to the trash of the day here in about 20 minutes or so. It takes us to Louisiana, by the way, and an issue at a restaurant. And you obviously have worked at a restaurant. So I'm curious if you guys ever ran into this scenario or knew of
I don't know what it is, so
a
we'll see.
certain scenario.
All right,
I'll tell
we'll
you what
see.
it is, here in about 20 minutes during the trash of the day. But back to football, back to expectations, very early expectations, knowing that the full picture may not be complete yet if we believe there are still some veteran signings that could happen by the time we get up to St. Joe at the end of July for training camp. But right now, what's the early expectation for fans for this offense? And we're talking points per game here, right? That's really all that matters.
Yeah.
Points per game. Offense and defense, starting with the offense, knowing that prior to the Mahomes injury, I know it didn't feel this way, but they were the 11th points per game offense
I was
in
shocked
football.
to see it myself.
So with that in mind, I think at bare minimum, it is easily saying top 10 offense. Like that's the bare minimum. The question is, are you expecting it to be more than that? And seeing how the offseason has gone offensively, look, I think, and I think you do as well, that Kenneth Walker will make this offense better. But Mahomes is still coming off of a very serious injury. So for me, my expectation is to be a top 10 offense. I can't sit here and tell you that my expectation is back to top 5. Quarterback's coming off an ACL. They didn't bring in a new wide receiver, really, if we're being honest.
Not yet.
They, to me, are going to be much better in the run game. But I can't elevate them to suddenly thinking that my expectation is that. Could they be that? Fine. We've proven wrong. But my expectation is not that they're a top 5 offense.
I guess part of it is if you said first month, whole season, final 15, final 13 weeks. Final 13 weeks, I think they need to be in the 5 to 7 range. On the season as a whole, top 10 would be fine. I think that's probably the right number. And I think that largely it's because they did still improve, though. They had no running game at all. And they were, and I think that this is like one of the lost things of last year's season, because it ended with Patrick Mahomes getting hurt. That's the thing you remember, and the wide receivers not doing well. That's what you remember. The offensive line, between personal reasons of choosing to miss or straight up injuries, got crushed by absences last year. They played a middle chunk of the season without a left tackle, the end of the season without a left-right tackle at all. They had little ticky-tack injuries at other spots. Like, they had troubles in the offensive line last year due to injuries and absence. And so, I think top 10 is the bare minimum. I think I expect them to be the final 13 weeks in the 5 to 7 range. I don't think that's unfair either. With Patrick Mahomes as your quarterback, I think that should always be the case. Defense, top 5.
Yeah,
you better be. You were 5th last year.
Defense is a different story, right? And I know you might think fundamentally that when your quarterback is Patrick Mahomes and your head coach is Andy Reid, that the expectation should always be higher than the defense. The offense should have higher expectations. I don't feel that way. They just devoted premium picks. And I know they lost a premium player or two in Watson and McDuffie, but they devoted premium picks, their first 4 picks actually, on defense. So I'm with you, Cody, where I mean, bare minimum offensive expectation is top 10. Bare minimum defense, they're like a top 7, top 8 bare minimum defense in football.
I think they need to be top 5. I mean, and I understand you're like, well, they just lost an all-pro corner and another starting corner and all these
Here's
other
why I
things
can't say my expectations top 5 for defense. I still don't know necessarily who is getting after the quarterback on the other side. Like, R. Thomas Mason or R. Mason Thomas. That's going to screw me up for a long time.
R. Mason Thomas.
Rotating in with Gelati. We're still talking about a lot of unproven guys on that side of the defensive line to go with Karlaftis, hoping that Chris Jones bounces back. I do think the interior pieces and Woods and Tonga will help Chris there, but that's why I can't get to your level of expectation defensively, top 5, because I still wonder about getting to the quarterback.
So here's why I think it should be, and the expectation should be. One is just simple. They have Spagnuolo. They had a top 10 defense. They had a top 5 defense last year, right? So, like, the expectation is set. And while I understand that they're losing players, much like kind of how I talked about the Royals outfield going into this season, is how I feel about the Chiefs' opposite pass rusher going into last. And so they were 5th last year, 6th the year before that, 2nd the year before that. Spag runs out top 5 defenses. Now, they were 18th in 2022, so obviously there was a shift in 2023, 4, and 5. But whoever's opposite Karlaftis is better. And you're like, but how could they be? Because Dana and this is not even like, I'm not offering you, this isn't an opinion. This is an objective fact. The worst outside pass rusher in the entire NFL last year. So they're better. Gelati in year 2, Omar Norman Lott coming off the injury, another second-round pick, as you mentioned, in R. Mason Thomas. That's better. It is. And Chris Jones was better than he was the year before in the sack department. Karlaftis was worse. So even if those two guys regulate somewhere in the middle, I just think their pass rush is good. And no offense, like, this is just how this works. I would say normally I would have to give them more time to get up and going in the secondary. Not when the pick is 6. That guy is an immediate starter and should be one of the 10 to 15 best corners in the NFL immediately. So I don't think they're really hurt in that because of Mansour Delane. And so, like, I just think they should be top 5 again. Maybe I'd give them 5 to 7 if I'm being generous. But, like, I do think that they need to rank somewhere in the top 5 in points per game.
I'm going to be generous, I think, actually, with both. So they were actually 6th last year in points per game. I'm looking it up right now.
I guess it's just different stats. I think the one I look ESPN, up sometimes includes, like, if people's numbers change a little bit on maybe playoffs.
So total defense last year, points per game on ESPN, regular season last year, they were 6th. I think the reason why I'm a little hesitant to put them, to say the expectation is top 5 is just because, you lose your 2 best corners. I know you got Mansour Delane, but we don't know how good he is. We think he's going to be good. Is he going to be as good as Trent McDuffie has been? That's the big question.
When you pick 6, you're supposed to be.
You also you lose Brian Cook, one of your most reliable tacklers. I know you bring in Alohi Gilman, but he played on a defense that wasn't particularly great. He was fine. Pass rush is the big question. You didn't get an edge rusher until R. Mason Thomas. How soon is it going to be for him to get acclimated? I would say top 10 defense would be my expectations.
Yeah, you and I are more aligned on this than Cody and I are.
I'm bullish.
I think on offense, I would say top 12. And the reason why I say top 12 on offense is, one, they didn't do anything in the wide receiver room. Also, teams that were outside of the top 10 last year that had quarterback injuries, Baltimore and Cincinnati, were not in the top 10. They'll be in the top 10 again on offense. Green Bay also not in the top 10. Jordan Love was hurt throughout the year. I think they'll be back in there. I think that top 12 offense is what, in terms of points per game, is what my expectation would be for the Chiefs. And that might sound off compared to what you guys have, but just based on what they've done this offseason, I don't think you can ask too much of them, because if you're saying
any year with Patrick Mahomes, if you're only top 12, you've failed. Like, he's too good to be 12.
Well, then they were failing. They were
11th.
We all would agree they were failing last year, and I understand
they were, and they were still 11th. As bad as they were,
I understand
as they were with all the things you just mentioned, they still managed to scratch together 11th. And at least, notably, even if they didn't change anything at wide receiver, they certainly changed their running back.
I understand that, but to me, what's your requirement again for offense?
I think they need to be top 10.
Okay, so
I think that they would be probably more in the 6 to 8 range past, I don't know, the first month of the season.
So
I think they'll be a little more cautious.
If we're going to put them in the 6 to 8 range, they need to average 27 points a game. And look, I'm not. They can be a really good offense, but not score as much. If you get my point.
Well, I think that's where they're building this team right now, based off of the resources being on the defensive side of the ball.
Yeah, where other teams also plan differently, where we're going to keep the ball out of Pat's hands. I think that's part of the, like, if the Chiefs have the 10th best offense in points per game, that doesn't mean that they're not good. That doesn't mean that they're underachieving, I think, because there's so many more layers to everything when it comes to just points per game. Like, the Rams had 30.5 points per game last year. They didn't even make the Super Bowl. So I think there's just levels to the.
They were a drive away from.
They were the second best team.
No, the Patriots 28.8 points per game, and they got throttled. The point being,
they made the Super Bowl.
No, but the point, if we're being honest, if Bo Nix played in that game, they were not going to the Super Bowl.
But you're like, your argument
them being a top 5 offense in scoring means nothing. Colts,
Seattle, the Super Bowl winner was 3rd.
The Indianapolis Colts were a top 10 team, and they didn't even make the playoffs.
But Drew,
or a top 10 offense. So the concept that they have to be top,
Super Bowl winning team and the 2 teams who were in the NFC title game and in the Super Bowl, the top 3 offenses in the NFL last year were in the Super Bowl, in the NFC title game, and won the Super Bowl.
So again, they made it, but looking at the other teams that did not make it, who were in the top 10, the Colts missed the playoffs, and they were a top 8 offense in the league. Just because you score doesn't mean that you're good. And just because you have a good defense doesn't mean that you're good either. Look at Houston for that.
No, which is why
they just need to be top 10.
I agree with you
they just
on
need to be top 10.
I agree with
top
you
12
on
the
the expectation part, except for the offense. Cody and I are further off on this than actually, believe it or not, than you and I are in terms of the expectation part. Where I think Kansas City, the expectation is a top 10 offense. I don't think they need to be the 5th or 6th best offense in football. I don't think the defense, Cody, based on your two expectations combined, you're thinking top 7 average offense, top 7 average defense.
Should be the 4th best team in the AFC.
Yeah, that's not, and I just don't think that's what they are. So my expectation is not that. I think roster wise, they don't have a roster that gets them to being top 5 in both categories anywhere close to that this year.
Yeah,
so
offense,
my
top 5
expectation
would be low.
My expectation is a top 10 offense and a defense that's closer to top 5, but I can't get there on the defense as much as you can just because of the lack of ability to get after the quarterback, I still think.
So are your expectations, Cody, for them to win the Super Bowl? Because if you're asking for them to be top 5 and top 10, you're asking for them to, at minimum, be in the AFC title
No, you
game.
just told me all those teams stink who were in both of those categories.
No, but I'm telling you.
So no.
No, but
that doesn't instantly mean success.
No,
you know?
My opinion can be different than yours, though. You don't need to go off of what I think. Based on what you think, if you want them to be top 5 and top 10, the Rams didn't even have a top 10 in both. If you look at scoring, the Seattle Seahawks had a top 3 in both offense and defense, or top 10.
The Rams were top 10 in both, but barely. Admittedly, the Rams were 10th. I don't know how many teams were in top 10 in both. Typically, that means you're a very good football team.
You're asking for them to be at minimum. So your expectations then right now are for them to at minimum be in the AFC title game then, based on what you're saying. If we're going off of the metrics from last year alone, then you just said the Rams were top 10 in both. Seattle was top 10 in both. The Patriots were top 10 in both, and the Denver Broncos were not top 10 in both.
I doubt they were top 10. I was about to say I doubt.
Actually, hang on a second. Let me see. I want to.
Denver wasn't a top 10 offense, were they?
They were 15th or 14th, I believe.
Okay, I was like, that would be kind of surprising.
But based on your expectations, they have to be.
them to be a playoff team. I don't know.
Then I think your expectations are too strong. Then
they might be. That might be more than fair. I just don't think I'm basing it off of a little bit of what they were last year and what was a down year, and I think they're more talented than they were a year ago.
Well, I think they're more talented than
before Mahomes got hurt on offense and
get them there. The reason why I think they have to be, for someone says, hey, anytime you have Patrick Mahomes, you should expect a top 5 offense. In general, I agree with that. That's also ignoring the realistic scenario, which is he's coming off an ACL and a PCL this year, or LCL, sorry, ACL, LCL injury this year. And that we just don't know yet. Like the other hard part about it, we all think he's playing week 1, but we don't know yet. They don't even know yet for sure.
Can I briefly mention something else that's happening in baseball before we get to the trash of the day? So the Phillies have fired their manager, Rob Thompson. Mm-hmm. Interesting firing. Obviously, they got up to a slow start. This is not very common in baseball, but we've now already had 2 managers fired.
We have.
What I find interesting about this, other than I'm sure there's some Royals fans be like, well, that means Q can be gone.
We did get that text. Yes.
Because Thompson and, of course, the Boston Red Sox manager, Alex Cora, fired is. Did you see who the Phillies originally offered the job to?
Yes.
Someone make this make sense. The Phillies, Drew, who just fired their manager, Rob Thompson, for getting off to a super slow start. Alex Cora, the guy who just got fired for getting off to a horrible start for the Boston Red Sox.
And he said no?
He said no, he's going to spend time with his family. Well, he still gets a check from his old employer.
He's like, why would I deal with the pressure and stress of this?
But what a weird... So they thought the best PR move was to fire the guy who got off to a slow start, to then hire the guy who got off to a slow start and got fired? That sounds like that would have been one of the weirdest hirings I could ever imagine, right? That would have been bizarre.
To just turn around and have another job like that within 3 days in the same sport in the middle of a season would have been very, very weird.
I can't think of another instance in which that ever took place.
And Mattingly, what's interesting, so he's the interim, as you said, for Philly. His son is also like the bench coach now. So it's the first father-son like duo in baseball history. Manager,
and it's all because of a firing?
Yes.
Rob Thompson kind of got done dirty, I'll say.
He did. So
we looked up his track record. It's pretty good.
Now, we have to recognize, I think, different in Philadelphia, East Coast, media market, and payroll. The Eagles, the Phillies had the 6th highest payroll in baseball this year. So when you spend that kind of money, you're expecting to have immediate results. But to your point about what he had done a great job, but in large part. So he took over in 2022. Then in 2023, they were 90 and 72. 2024, they were 95 and 67. Last year, they were 96 and 66. They lost in the NLDS a couple years, but that first year, remember, they went to the World Series and lost.
Yep.
And then this year, they're off to a bad 9-19 start. So it's not an acceptable start, but it's a guy that went to the playoffs for 3 straight years
and went to a World Series in one of them.
Yeah, it's a little bit different in Philadelphia, and when you're spending $200-something million on your payroll.
I just think it's wild.
And I don't know the clubhouse.
Fire your manager for starting slow to try to hire the other manager who started slow.
And I don't know the clubhouse. We're not in Philly. We don't cover that team, so I don't know if there were already stories. Was the locker room or the clubhouse? And
players quit on him.
No idea.
That's always you know what it is? That's a really hard thing to like tangibly understand too. What do you do? Interview every individual player and be like, do you still believe in Alex Cora? Do you still believe in Thompson? Do you how do you determine if he's lost a clubhouse is always a really difficult thing to get. I thought the story of they thought hiring a manager who had been fired in disgrace, right, or whatever, for a slow start to replace their manager who started slow is just funny to me. Can you guys remember, Drew, maybe you can you guys remember a single time in which a guy got a job that fast after getting fired?
Another head coaching job?
In the same year could you just imagine if whoever, who do you think's the favorite to be fired first in the NFL next year?
Probably Aaron Glenn.
Okay, Aaron Glenn.
Yeah, that's a great answer.
He'd never get the job though. I need somebody better.
Jeez.
Who's a team that would be Okay, let's say Nick Sirianni. Nick Sirianni has expectations. So let's say the Eagles start 0-6, and they're like, "Get out of here, Nick Sirianni. We're not interested anymore." And then right at that same time, the Jets fire Aaron Glenn, and they're like, "Hey, Nick Sirianni, want the job for the rest of the year?" That seems crazy to me.
I do wonder if
that seems crazy.
I don't think Philly would have done this, but do you think them firing their manager was in part due to them thinking they could get Alex Cora?
Clearly, they like
they wanted
Alex Cora's a good manager.
No, I disagree with that.
We're going to fire our guy because one, we're doing bad, but we also think we can get Alex Cora. They fired him because Alex Cora got fired. They didn't really want to. Or they weren't going to until he got fired.
I disagree based on the timeline. Alex Cora was fired last week.
Yeah,
they fired Rob Thompson today. They didn't have to fire Rob Thompson to find out if Cora was interested. It happens all the time. You back channel it. You call his agent. Would you be interested if we have an opening?
I'm not taking that job.
So I don't think the timeline
that's fair
fits that.
Well, they probably in Philly were trying to give him more time to be even worse, which they continued to be. Let him try to dig himself out of the hole, considering the track record, and it only seemingly got worse.
Trash of the day.
All right, let's get to it. Then we'll get back into some football in the Chiefs Red Half Hour here in 10 minutes. We'll talk about the linebackers. But the trash of the day has to do with the restaurant, Cody. That's why I was asking you to start the hour. Maybe you've had this or at least heard stories like this. Louisiana. Pineville, Louisiana. Police there are investigating a restaurant after a social media post claimed an employee was seen skinning a dead animal behind the building. What? Officers responded to China Queen Buffet on April 21st.
No.
Found evidence that the animal was a deer that had been collected from the side of the road. The deer carcass was found stored in a freezer alongside food that was allegedly intended to be served to customers. Hope you guys are enjoying your lunch. Thanks for listening. In Louisiana, collecting roadkill without permission from the state's wildlife agency is illegal, can carry fines of $400 to $900. Also, up to 120 days in jail.
We're sending someone to jail for 120 days.
The restaurant issued a statement saying the deer was never meant to be served and has corrected its procedures. State health and wildlife officials have launched their own investigation, and health records show the restaurant is a repeat violator of state health codes. Here's one of those. I don't live in Louisiana,
they were definitely gonna serve it,
but
right?
There's no chance I will. If I was in Louisiana, I would ever go to that restaurant again.
Why
no
would
chance.
you?
This is also why we've told you, Drew. I don't know if you've gone since you got sick at a buffet, a year ago maybe, or a year and a half ago.
Yeah, Drew was down for the count.
You went to, we're not going to name it, a certain buffet in town, and it did not go well for you. I just don't trust.
I've had Chinese food, but not a buffet yet since then, no.
Okay, yeah. But you went to a Chinese buffet and got sick, right?
Yes.
Okay.
I think that's what it was from. I honestly don't know.
There's no way you're ever going to believe that they weren't going to serve it.
Have you ever heard about restaurants having
I have not.
Roadkill?
In the walk-in of all the restaurants I've worked at, I've never seen roadkill.
You're kind of in the sticks of Louisiana, though. I mean, I don't know if this is necessarily a surprise.
Do you want to hear one of the most offensive things I saw done once at a restaurant?
Offensive?
Yeah, as in if you were the customer, you would have been like, "I can't believe you did that." So in the restaurants, right, we use a lot of cloths, right? I keep one in the bar or the kitchen. You clean off something, you put them in, and we have a giant hamper full of people's used napkins, dirty cloths, all that stuff. Just a bin full of it so you can go to the laundry later down the road. I once saw somebody cut with a knife somebody's wedding cake. Then the knife was too dirty. They reached into that basket to retrieve a towel to then wipe the knife off.
Nope.
And cut it again. I tattled. I went to the chef and I was like, man, you got to get someone else to cut this cake. We can't keep letting, it's already down the middle. There's nothing I can do about it now. But the rest of the slices of this cake can't be cut using that knife. It can't go down like that.
This was at your restaurant you worked at.
Yeah, shameful behavior.
Wow.
It was pretty awful, man. It was pretty awful. I just thought...
Someone says, was this employee RFK Jr.? We had a story last week about
cut off the
squirrel's penis. A dead squirrel's penis.
And like a whale head and all that stuff? That man sees roadkill and just thinks, I might as well take a little
Someone says there's
time.
a place in town that has roadkill on the menu, like actually on the menu.
What?
Someone said there's a place in Olathe. I don't want to mention their name in case it's not true, but a place in Olathe that has roadkill on the menu.
No way.
Pineville is like right in the middle, right in between Shreveport and Baton Rouge and New Orleans area, essentially.
Someone from the 816 texted in. So they work at a fire station, ran a car accident versus deer, and a fireman put the deer on the bumper of the fire truck, skinned behind the fire station. Now, you're not a restaurant, at least, so you can do, what you do on your own, like, for
you want to make some venison in your free time? That's your choice. Don't serve it to me,
but
without telling me that
having it at a restaurant that is not supposed to be serving deer meat is a little bit different.
Interesting.
Someone said they worked at a national pizza chain when they were a kid.
Okay.
The pizza sauce is prepared by them with water and bags of sauce. I witnessed a guy mixing sauce and hawking a loogie into a batch. I threw the whole thing in the dump.
Come on,
I'm never going to have Pizza Hut again.
Because that one guy hawked a loogie one time?
I mentioned the name, Drew. Thank you. I just said national chain. Drew just goes.
I'm sorry.
No,
we support the economy.
Yeah, I'd go for a slice of pizza right now. Honestly,
sure.
Yeah.
Someone said that would have been a good use of the snitch line, Cody. I was like, sometimes you gotta snitch, man. Sometimes you gotta.
I do think
rat.
That is a very good reason to snitch. Keeping other people safe.
Yeah. So if you're ever in Pineville, Louisiana, keep that in mind.
I don't have any plan to go to Pineville.
Did you look that up? How close to? Did you say it's close
between Baton Rouge
and Shreveport? It's basically between.
How far?
I don't know the mileage. If you know where Alexandria is, it's across the Red River from Alexandria. So it's a bigger. Alexandria is 45,000 people, but Pineville's on the other side.
14,000 people in Pineville, Louisiana.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I hadn't planned on. I don't know when I would ever end up in.
It's right off the interstate, so if you've ever driven on
perfect.
on I-49,
on the way to New Orleans.
Yeah, go ahead.
I do think that is the path you would take if you were driving.
So
to New
we've probably driven by Pineville, Louisiana,
through Shreveport down to New Orleans.
Mm-hmm.
New Orleans.
Give him a pass.
I've never been to Pineville, Louisiana.
Now people are defending the national pizza chain on the text line. All right. Up next, let's get to the Chiefs Red Half Hour. Let's talk more about the linebackers on this team. I think one player should be pretty excited about their role based on what happened during the draft.
Cody and Gold, brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. Follow the station on Instagram for ticket giveaways and behind-the-scenes content from the show at The Fan 965.
Performance matters in intimate moments. Don't let ED ruin them. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and I want to assure you that if you're like the vast majority of guys, you don't have to suffer with ED anymore. In fact, you might be pleasantly surprised at how the right treatments could positively impact your love life. At Heartland Men's Health, our advanced medical therapies go far beyond pills. We have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases, and we offer specific and combinative treatments that can dramatically enhance both your performance and your stamina. You could even last up to an hour or more and bring a far greater level of intimacy to both you and the one you love, perhaps performing like you haven't in years. So call us today and find out why our advanced treatment strategies offer so much more. Your first visit is just $99 and gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. Heartland Men's Health, advanced medical science to improve men's lives.
I hope you are sitting down. The ACA Marketplace has announced significant increases on monthly premiums, with deductibles over $10,000. You can enroll with Matt B. and KC at BBS Insurance's Freedom of Choice plan now. You don't have to wait. Their plan lets you use any doctor, has zero outpatient deductibles, and is 30 to 60% lower cost than most Obamacare plans. Also, there's no income disclosure required, so no potential tax penalties. If you're a small business owner or pay for your own health insurance, you're uninsured, you're on COBRA, or your employer coverage is just too expensive, call Matt B. and KC for an instant quote over the phone. 816-205-4664. That's 816-205-4664. Or go to bbsinsurance.net. That's bbsinsurance.net. They will customize a plan chosen and managed by you, not the government.
CertaPro Painters recently painted my home and exceeded my expectations. I booked a free estimate, reviewed a detailed proposal, and scheduled my project on the spot. When you choose CertaPro Painters, you're partnering with trusted local professionals with over 70,000 five-star reviews. Ask about their spring sales event for 10% off qualifying projects through May 15th. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated right here in KC. Schedule your free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C.
Call Hamilton today for our $79 mainline drain cleaning special. The pros at Hamilton will inspect your drains with video camera technology to pinpoint exactly what is needed to clear those clogs and help prevent expensive drain repairs. The expert technicians at Hamilton are ready 7 days a week to solve your problem the right way, the first time. Over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 five-star reviews are great reasons to trust Hamilton. Visit callhamilton.com/radio for details, terms, and conditions.
License number 2025-11121. Telly Tire and Auto Center's biggest sale is back. The tires at cost sale. That's right. You pay what we pay on any in-stock tires from Telly's huge inventory. Our certified techs will even mount and balance them for only $30 per tire. All that plus a 30-day ride guarantee and lifetime tire protection. Gas and grocery prices may be going up, but there's never been a better time to buy tires. Reserve yours now at TELLEtire.com before our sale ends. Take care of your car. Take it to Telly. Additional charges apply for tire disposal and road hazard warranty.
They call this one Bill.
Whoa, aliens? Am I in a spaceship?
Affirmative, Bill.
What's with the laser saw?
Relax. We are cutting our bill in half.
What?
An Xfinity mobile transmission says you can cut your bill in half.
Oh, your mobile bill, not me, Bill.
Xfinity Mobile also says we can try it free for a year. Free.
Yes, with no commitment. Can we put the saw away?
I am reluctant. But we will find another being to bisect.
That's not sci-fi. It's Xfinity Mobile. Xfinity Internet members cut your mobile bill in half. Plus, try Xfinity Mobile free for a year. No commitment. Learn more at xfinitymobile.com. Xfinity. Imagine that. Restrictions apply. Xfinity Internet required. Savings compares one line of Xfinity Mobile Select to comparable plans after 12 months. Regular rates apply.
Save $10 on a pair of Bosch Focus wiper blades. Our professional parts people will even install them for free at O'Reilly.
Ask parents to share their journey of adopting teens.
They changed who I am because I can't see life without them in it.
Visit adoptuskids.org to learn more. Brought to you by Adopt US Kids, the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, and the Ad Council.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Growing a brand is hard, but reaching the right customers shouldn't be. Meet Outcomes from Viant. We've built an intelligent platform that handles the complexity of digital advertising for you. Powered by advanced AI, we help your brand show up in the right places at the right time and ensure that every dollar you spend leads to a real business result. It's smarter advertising made simple. Visit Viant.ai.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Hey, it's Rob Brennan. We hope you're enjoying Beyond the Pitch KC, a podcast on how Kansas City landed the world's biggest sporting event. It's presented by Commerce Bank. Visit commercebank.com/soccer26. New episodes released every Wednesday on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome in to the Chiefs Red Half Hour. Every day at 11:30 with Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5, The Fan.
Chiefs Red Half Hour is brought to you by Leavenworth PD. Be a cop, be yourself. Build your career at Leavenworth PD. Apply today at leavenworthks.gov/police.
Funny timing. We were just talking about AI and John Lynch and all that stuff from the, UMKC. They send, I get staff emails like any other employee, I guess.
Do you read them?
Some. What? I mean, come on. I teach 1 to 2 classes. I don't have to read all of them.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be crazy. But this just said survey on AI use. Drew.
Oh.
Our goal is the assessment of curriculum and how often you're using AI in education. Can you please, it's essentially, can you complete this survey and tell us how often you're using it?
Are you using AI at all in your...
Never used it once in teaching.
Okay.
What I guess I don't know what I
could
would
have used it to,
for.
I don't know, you could have typed into Chat GPT, how do I make my syllabus not 8 freaking pages long? Please truncate this thing.
Yeah, you definitely could have had Chat GPT type the syllabus for you.
Well, and somebody does say, does my syllabus contain an AI policy is one of the questions. No? Can someone AI an entire podcast?
Of course they can.
I mean,
there's
with the
videos with their voice?
Yes.
Absolutely. Absolutely, that
they're
can
doing
happen.
that work, then I guess kudos to them. I don't know what to say.
I was going to say,
I feel like I know it, but I'll tell you this much. The AI is not doing a very good job on some.
Well,
not as clean
is
as
anybody failing your class
Not
this
at
year?
the moment.
At the moment. Anybody
moment.
close?
Yeah.
I mean, we're almost done, though.
Yeah, there's another couple dicey ones.
Are you done teaching? I mean, it's April 28th.
No, 4 classes remain. 2 this week, 2 next week.
Oh, okay. That seems really late.
Is it? I mean, May,
Yeah.
like just the first week of May, and then finals we could be after that, but we don't do like a traditional final.
I think I was there. I think at least 2 of the years that I was in college, I was out by now.
Drew, I in a weird way, like as bad as it would be to have Cody as your professor, I will say it was gone last Thursday for the draft. I mean, he just cancels class left and right.
That
It's
might be why,
it's a great class to be
Easy
in.
there. I don't cancel. I cancel it when I have to. I was going to be in Pittsburgh. How am I supposed to teach
class,
the class?
Remote class.
Remote class?
Record the lecture. Record it and upload it.
I didn't mind my evening classes, but there were some who would actually really enjoy having their late afternoon, early evening off. I think they actually would enjoy that.
So we'll check in on whether or not we proceed with the AI stuff. Don't forget, of course, if you are looking for a brand new career in IT and the importance of AI, our friends over at Centric can certainly help with that. Get yourself a career in as little as 4 months. Someone that I think has got to be excited about their career moving forward, though, based off what the Chiefs did not do in the draft, that would be a linebacker in Jeffrey Bossa for the Kansas City Chiefs, because they did not draft a single linebacker. Now, maybe they brought in an undrafted guy. I haven't looked at the full undrafted list, but he's in a spot to get a big increase in playing time this year. We all know Chanel is now in Washington, so it is Tranquil, it's Bolton, and it's Bossa. Look, they drafted him in the 5th round a year ago. Now he's going to have his opportunity to shine. We already know he was pretty good on special teams. I'm curious to see just how they utilize him. Is it the exact same way they were having Leo out there, or is it going to be, do they view him as maybe not the same direct athleticism, because Leo is an absolute freak, but do we see Bossa more involved in some other elements? Does he take on a bigger role, I would argue, maybe than Leo in terms of his play style? Last year he played, I don't know, just about every game, just of course was more of a special teams guy, had 15 tackles on the entire season.
Yeah.
He's going to have a much bigger role here in his second year with the Kansas City Chiefs.
Unless they're signing a linebacker in free agency, how could he not? They didn't really draft one. And so the only other guy to play the third linebacker role, this also means, and this is a huge risk in their linebacker core, Bolton and Drew Tranquil have to stay healthy, or Bossa all of a sudden gets thrust into like real important territory. Not like even kind of important territory. Like he matters.
He's their most athletic linebacker, though, on the roster.
That was Leo before, probably.
Yeah, and look, I like Drew Tranquil. I know last year wasn't his best season. Nick Bolton, we all know what his role is on this team. I think if you can tell me that they trust Bossa to take on more of some of those matchups where at times Drew Tranquill struggled in coverage when he was put in some of that's on the coaching staff too, is that where Bossa can help them out? I don't know. Comps are tough. I don't know. If you said in recent history, what's the closest linebacker that Bossa is, I would probably say somebody like Willie Gay. If you're just talking about recent Chiefs linebacking history, that's probably the closest comp to that. But he's going to have a big role for them. And so this linebacking core, and when we talk about expectations for the defense, he'll have a huge role in whether or not this defense meets those expectations.
For sure, but it's also just like it's why he becomes an incredibly important player. And I guess while we were having that conversation yesterday, we probably should have kicked around the idea of them needing a linebacker in free agency.
They don't have.
I mean, Cole Christensen and Jack Cochran and some of the guys
Cooper
who have
McDonald
certainly played. Yeah, but I mean,
I'm just saying
they've had a few of those guys on the roster for some time. The concerning part, I guess, to me about Bossa taking a huge measurable difference in his snaps, where you might be like, well, that's kind of how it went for Leo Chenal. He started slower and then played more and more. Leo Chenal played 23% of the defensive snaps his rookie year, 41%, and then finished last year playing 53% of the snaps for the Chiefs. What percentage do you think that Jeffrey Bossa played last year?
Like in non-special teams?
I just told you Chenal played 23 his rookie year. Non-special teams.
I'm
just
guessing
defensive snaps.
Like 5.
4.
Yeah.
And so that's asking for a considerable, even if you got to a second year Leo's numbers, 41%, that's a considerable jump in playing time for a guy that they didn't want to get on the field very much. Now it's hard to get on the field, right? Tranquill, Bolton, Chenal.
It's going to be at least 25% this year,
I think it almost has to be unless they're signing a free agent. Again, unless they're signing a free agent.
You want to know some of those free
linebacker.
agents?
Sure.
Bobby Okereke, Josie Jewell, Bobby Wagner, Jermaine Pratt, Matt Milano, Eric Kendricks, Kenneth Murray, Devin White, Shaq Thompson, Denzel Perryman. Some of the names.
I just think going back to the roster construction,
former green dots in there.
To the roster construction, there's going to be areas where you don't feel as confident in, or questions, or unproven. This might be that area. I don't really want them to go sign a veteran linebacker. To me, they're like, this is what it is. This is the reality of how the roster is constructed.
Sometimes
you drafted,
gotta be young.
Like Bossa needs to step up, give him the opportunity. Maybe he has to share that with McDonald or somebody else. But Drew Tranquill's still here, Nick Bolton's still here. But it's not year one for Bossa anymore. Like at some point, you have to ask those players that you drafted, even if it's the 5th round, to step into a new role. You can't just continue to sign veterans and not utilize the fact that you got value, hopefully in the 5th round with a linebacker.
But I guess sometimes it's just like what they should do sometimes, or what they traditionally have done. In a weird way, like Cooper McDonald, by the way, is that the kid? Is that the glove you caught?
Yes.
Gave to your nephew?
Yes, my nephew has it. There was a Lions game. Drew and I were at the Lions game,
Right. That was the glove
Sunday
you
night
got.
game, and at the end of the game, he threw his glove up, and we didn't know who it was at first. And
I would be a little concerned, though, to your point, Cody.
He played 0 defensive snaps.
I would, just because of did Drew Tranquill miss time, or was he just playing through injury last year?
He was banged up.
Yeah, and look, he's just had a history of injury, and so that's just a portion of his career. I guess my point is.
Yeah.
Is it Gold? You're saying, hey, they got to play these young guys and finally make a shift. And look, last season, but he played in all 17 games. Last season might still very well have been a shift in this dialogue. But when I think about the things that have been abject truths, like there's been no movement and it has been the same. I was telling Dusty earlier, he was like, what are the chances you think they'd bring back Tyreek? I said, I don't know, 50-50? Because the things Brett Veach always does is trade up in the NFL draft, bring back players who used to play here. And he likes former first-round picks. Those are just things Brett Veach does every year. Whether we are like, is this the year he'll do it again? Yes, all the time. The one thing the Chiefs defense doesn't do, play young players. So as much as I'm just like, play them, they don't do that. Like almost ever.
But this is year 2. We're not talking about this is year 2.
Yeah.
Again, I think
the guy only played 4% of the snaps. I think
they are forced.
I don't know.
They're forced because of the roster to play a lot of young guys here in 2026 and setting it up. I mean, there's the obvious, when you spend a high pick, that guy's going to play. Peter Woods he's going to rotate in. He's not going to play as much as some 20.
Oh, but he'll play 40, 45%.
But he's going to get a huge chunk of the snaps rotating in. His playing time will increase his second year when potentially, Chris Jones is a year older and Tonga is a year older as well, and things will change. But I just think Bossa has the ability Bossa has the ability to cover maybe a bit more than they got last year.
I think
at a linebacker spot.
There's definitely some truth in that. But again, they just don't have the depth unless they're playing a bunch of guys who they've had on their roster that don't play. Like Jack Cochran and Cooper McDonald, who you mentioned, but did not play a single defensive snap last year. Played 70% of the special team snaps. So, but I'm just saying, like, if they played McDonald or Cochran or Bossa, the amount they played Leo last year, 50% of the snaps, that would be a massive difference than any way they've ever done it. And so, like, that would be a big swing that they haven't done in a long time, which makes me kind of feel like they're going to end up signing a veteran. Like, just knowing that how they've traditionally done it.
We'll see.
And they haven't moved off of that very often.
I mean, we keep talking about veteran signings. We've all brought up wide receiver, and whether it's Tyreek Hill or the dream of signing Cam Jordan or something like that. I know post-draft guys get signed, but like now we're listing off too many positions. Like the Chiefs are not post-draft now going to go and sign a wide receiver, and they're going to go sign a safety, and they're going to go sign a linebacker, and they're going to go sign an edge rusher. Like, no, most of the signings are done. There's going to be a few random signings that happen between now and camp. And yes, surprise cuts during camp can alter it. And also what they see, Cody, during mini camp and OTAs. I mean, if they're watching Bossa or these linebackers out there, they become more concerned about the position. That could also prompt them to sign somebody. But I don't think they're going out and signing 5 veteran free agents in the next 2 weeks.
They got to do their own personal power ranking of cost versus positional need. And part of me thinks that they don't think wide receivers as big of a positional need as we talk about. Because every year in a row, I certainly seem to think they might need another wide receiver, and they're not like hurry to get off their ass about it. So like it is kind of hard to imagine that that's one high on their list.
I don't think
and safety maybe not that, but maybe it is linebacker, maybe it is defensive end, or maybe they like their linemen better than we do on the defensive line. Gold, like I don't think they're signing all those either, but I do still think there's a couple more signings. Matter of fact, today is the deadline of which you'll see those moves happen. After today, or after a certain time today, they no longer count against the comp pick formula, in which the Chiefs are expected to receive at least, I think, 2 picks based on the free agent signed. I think it's right now it's a 3rd and a 7th or a 4th and a 7th, depending on how you.
Is it cut off today? Why did I think cut off
today?
Yeah, okay. Bink was in with us. I think Bink told us it was the afternoon yesterday, but
no, it's some point today. It might be 3 or 4 o'clock today. I don't remember the exact deadline, but the deadline today is no longer count against the comp pick formula. So like you can sign people and no longer risk losing picks next year in what should be a pretty loaded draft. So I don't know. I've just never seen him. I've never seen in the entire time Brett Veach and Andy Reid and Spags have been together. I've never seen him just take a guy like Bossa and then just play him 50% of the snaps. So like I'm having a hard time imagining that they're just going to do it. Doesn't mean the changes can't happen, but he's definitely a way more important player than he was last year. His increased importance, and especially like you mentioned, the pass coverage is way up. And he's an athlete, so I'm interested to see what he can do. Was he a 4th?
5th round pick.
5th round pick.
Yeah, 5th round pick.
Yeah. But at least I couldn't remember which one. 5th rounds too. That's the other part about like not counting on. Are they going to play him? There's nobody else to play right now, so I guess that's the part that I can't quite remember. But we'll see. Someone has said 3 comp picks. They're saying so. Whatever it is, they're not going to want to mess with that formula and give up that possibility if they can just wait a day and then get those guys for free. You had mentioned wide receivers, so let's talk a little bit about the free agent wide receivers and the guys that are available. Yep. Look, it's a big year for Rice. We mentioned that earlier. It's a big year for Worthy. Worthy, for him, it's like he still has to have the breakout year. Technically, Rice had his right away, and he averages more yards per game now than he ever did as a rookie. He has been pretty much the same. He is like 10 targets, 7 catches, 70 yards a game for 12 straight games, essentially, when he's on the field and available for the Chiefs. So assuming he's an 1,100-yard wide receiver, which is not crazy to me, the entire part of will the Chiefs sign a veteran wide receiver to me hinges on do the Chiefs think Xavier Worthy is going to be much better? Is he going to take a leap forward? Because if he is, then the type of wide receiver you should be looking for in free agency gold is way down the list. As in, should land somewhere, in my opinion, after Tyquan Thornton in the depth chart, which puts you pretty low on the available shopping list. If you are less of a believer in Xavier Worthy, that's when I think you get into the Jawan Jennings or Keenan Allen or some of these other guys who would obviously need and take more targets than a guy that would be, like name other blank random Josh Reynolds or whoever, nonsense wide receiver you would name that would land after Tyquan.
the Juwan Jennings, I just don't think they're in that dollar amount range at that position this offseason, unless it continues to go way down. He's unsigned for multiple reasons. There's questions about how he fits into a locker room, for example, and his whole personality, but also he's probably wanting more money than some of these other names that you referenced there. Tyreek Hill is the obvious answer for a lot of people. One, I think he's cost effective. Is there something left there, though? He shredded his knee. So what's left with his knee? That's where I'm hesitant. But I also acknowledge it just makes a ton of sense at some point this offseason for the Chiefs to end up signing him. Brandon Cooks, to me, you got to have Tyquan Thornton. I don't need Brandon Cooks. That just doesn't make sense. Keenan Allen, I know Bink and I talked about him last year.
He's the right style of wide receiver.
Bink wanted him here last year, and to Bink's credit, Keenan Allen was very good in L.A. I'm still not convinced that Keenan Allen would have had a great year in Kansas City last year. I think the whole offense was a mess. He's a year older now. I'm good. I don't want to bring in Keenan Allen to take snaps away from anybody. You're right on Xavier Worthy, though. I mean, this is a make or break season for him. I think we've acknowledged that in year 3. Rashee Rice, I think they're basically saying with this wide receiver group, we're going to lean on Rashee Rice, and he is going to, in a contract year, maybe have his best season of his NFL career. And if he has that, then they feel good about their wide receiver. And people can question whether that's a good plan. I'm just saying it's very evident they are banking on career type of season for Rashee Rice, and that Xavier Worthy, with a competent wide receiver coach and not getting hurt 3 plays into the season, that he will have a breakout year. I get the skepticism. I'm just telling you, I think that's clear how they're proceeding. Tyquan Thornton, will they actually allow him?
He had an okay year. I'd take the same year he had last year, just used more later in the year.
Will they allow him to be more than just the deep threat, though? Because that's what it was for Tyquan Thornton. And then when Rice came back, he barely got on the field. He came back, I would imagine there was some conversation about his role now as the number 3 wide receiver. He was not the number 3 wide receiver entering camp last year. He was a guy that nobody initially thought was going to make the team, and then he was very impressive throughout camp, and it became clear he was going to make this football team.
I'm still stunned that they didn't take one.
He had almost
higher, same.
The Bengals took one higher than they did.
I know.
Yeah, I think we all thought by round 3 there was a wide receiver off the board.
But in fairness, they moved up to give Montour Lane, so they gave up that. They sacrificed essentially that extra pick that they might have used at wide receiver to go and get him.
Yeah, 74 might have been Ted Hurst.
Who knows?
Who's to say? But of course, they didn't select there because they ended up using that to use to Mansour, and they obviously were always good. They used their first because of the trades. They used their first 6 picks on defense.
Yeah,
so. Their investment in offense was always going to be somewhat limited.
I think they're just setting themselves up that, next offseason, they're going to have to either spend big on a free agent receiver, trade for one, or spend a premium pick.
If Xavier Worthy doesn't work out, does that if he has a bad year, does that actually, from the wide receiver standpoint and then picking high, does that make you nervous a little bit where it's like, you know what, let's just trade for somebody? Let's go ahead and trade for George Pickens, because maybe our evaluation, because they're not going to be picking 9 again, at least we think that.
Right.
They're like, Cam Coleman's not going to be there. Jeremiah Smith's not going to be there. Ryan Williams might not be there. You might not even get one of the top guys anyways.
I'll just hope that the Vikings are bad and then they really will move off of a guy like Justin Jefferson.
Or George Pickens,
I do think, and look, George Pickens you don't even necessarily have to trade for. They're not going to double tag him. He will, hypothetically, just be a full free agent. And I think Gold said this before, which is if the wide receivers don't work out, they will be in that market. They will be in the who is the single best free agent wide receiver available. The thing is it Tyquan
By the way, the
Thornton,
free agents, now, doesn't mean they'll actually reach free agency.
Yeah.
If you were wondering, just for the sake of the conversation, who is scheduled to be a free agent at wide receiver next year, George Pickens, Devontae Adams, Christian Watson, Drake London, Chris Olave, Darnell Mooney, Justin Watson,
not good after some of the ones.
Rashee Rice.
Stop the list there. It's
so it's not the best. There's a couple top tier names. Otherwise, it's going to be the draft.
I guess that's always the thing that's tough about this is they can't, based on where you were selected or where you were drafted, or any of that stuff can't matter as much this year. Like last year, Tyquan Thornton averaged the same yards per game as Xavier Worthy. Now Worthy was hurt, and again, I don't need to make excuses for the guy, but do I think that impacted his production a little last year? Yeah, I do. I think he had to play hurt because they were waiting out a suspension from Rashee Rice. And then by the time he came back, the team was still incredibly desperate because the season felt like it had gotten off tracks. And then they were trying to figure out a way to sort through it and figure out a way to balance it. And so a huge chunk. And look, you know this, and it's you think he will bounce back, and I hope he does. And we can talk maybe later, closer to camp, what constitutes a good or a bad season for him. But I'm only 50-50 they're going to sign any wide receiver. And I can see it easily being August 15th after camp. They get a full look at this unit. And they're yep, still need one more, and then they sign an injured Tyreek, slap him on the PUP list for 6 weeks, and says we'll see you November 1st. Like that plan would not shock.
It's very much in play. By the way, just a housekeeping thing. It was yesterday with the comp pick formula. So yesterday at 3:00 is when unrestricted free agents switching teams no longer count, unless the original team gives them a UFA tender, which that doesn't usually happen. So now is when that stuff doesn't factor in anymore.
It was 3:00 yesterday, the official deadline.
Yeah.
All right.
According to Sports Illustrated.
I don't know. Doesn't matter. The point is that they can start signing people, and they should probably, at least in a couple of areas, just shore up the rest of the roster. They're also kind of tight. I think they might still be
they got to restructure or do some different things.
They got to save a few $million.
They got to still sign the rookies, and I think that's $11 million.
It's more expensive because they traded up to 6.
Yeah,
Mansour cost a few extra $1 million.
It did go up. They can navigate that pretty easily. Nate Taylor's going to join us, by the way, our Chiefs insider from ESPN at 1:00 today. We'll ask him about some of the financial in there. Does he agree with maybe the plan moving forward and how the Chiefs are proceeding at wide receiver? Plus, the rest of the draft, we'll get his thoughts. So it'll be good to have Nate Taylor join us in the 1:00 hour here on 96.5 The Fan.
Looking forward to talking to our guy, Nate Taylor, who did not go to Pittsburgh, I don't think, right? He was
we would have seen him.
Most of the Chiefs draft coverage is here. Yes. Like they do stuff in the facility. They bring you on the Zooms there. John Dorsey used to put out a plate of cookies that would say, like, they'd have like a card on it that made it clear they were from John Dorsey. I'm not kidding. They were all like store-bought looking cookies. But every single draft I covered for like 3 years with John Dorsey or whatever.
Yeah.
There'd be a like a mixed plate of cookies.
This is a bad thing. This thing's great.
And it would just have it would be like from John Dorsey.
He personally bought it.
But I haven't covered the team in that way since Brett Veach became the GM because I pretty quickly moved into like this job. So I don't know if he leaves anything for the media. No, it was nothing. I was fine with John Dorsey to leave cookies. Who was
John
complaining?
Dorsey up in Detroit?
Is that where he is?
Yeah, he's
with
the
that's
Lions
right.
right now. He's part of their front office staff. I don't know, consultant, advisor, whatever role it is.
They'll pay you 6 figures to
not bad, not a
give
bad
an
gig.
opinion
Look,
here
he
and
was
there.
always great at evaluating talent. That was not the problem for John
No one's
Dorsey.
ever argued that.
He can. The guy has an eye for talent. That is not a problem for John Dorsey, and I think he's probably doing great things up there in Detroit.
I don't know who the Lions take this year. Anybody know? I didn't follow their draft very high. Anybody follow it?
Sorry, I was just saying Ken
took a
Walker.
tackle.
Were they the ones who took Blake Miller?
Yeah, they took a tackle in the first round, but I just couldn't remember. They didn't take any offensive players either. They didn't take they didn't take an offensive player till round 5. I'm looking at now. Crazy.
We were talking running back. Sorry, I just saw it come across the timeline. Kenneth Walker is doing an autograph signing coming up next month here in Kansas City. That's kind of
You gonna go get something signed by Ken Walker?
My nephews might want to go up there or something. Yeah, I just saw that. You can go on Twitter to find out who's doing it. I'm not gonna give a free plug to the place that's doing it.
It is kind of we've talked about this with other teams. The Chiefs are so great that I almost feel like to do get a helmet, like a full size helmet, and have somebody sign it. I almost feel like they have to have won a Super Bowl here.
Ooh,
is that?
Well, you can proactively.
There's so many of them, Like at this point, it's like if you're going to get a full size helmet, it feels like it should be signed by like a Super Bowl winner for the Chiefs. We don't know if Ken Walker's going to be that. I hope he is. He's got 2 to 3 years here. Most likely.
It's like $350 to get a full size helmet signed by him, including the helmet.
You said you'd rather have a Super Bowl champion sign the helmet than.
Yeah, I think so.
So you'd rather have a Jack Cochran signed helmet than a.
Okay, relax.
You're taking it to the extreme.
That's what I'm here to do.
Not that.
That's why
taking it to the extreme.
That's what I'm here to do with this conversation.
How about this? I'll go further down the depth chart than you would think because I didn't say like Travis Kelce.
No, stick with running back.
Damian Williams.
Yeah, I have a signed football
that's
from
because
him.
he should have won MVP the year. I think that's that actually is fair.
Do you see the point now, though?
I have a signed dual football between him and Chris Jones from that year.
If you played in the game and you played well in the game, yes, I would say that
my thing is
you're on the list.
Helmets take up a ton of space because now more of my collecting has shifted to sports cards. So I haven't bought new memorabilia in a while.
It takes up more space.
Yes, like I have, I got a couple jerseys and helmets and things like that, but I don't really have more room for another helmet. It would be more likely to get a card signed than it would be like a helmet or a football. It just takes up some space, man.
It does. I mean, you got to really this is like the jersey purchase. Alex and I were talking about that in Pittsburgh, where it's like, I wouldn't buy the first round pick jersey of a player unless they were a quarterback until I knew they were good. I'm not out shopping.
I mean, the Raiders fans buying Mendoza, like you're saying. I think you can do that right away.
Pick, you take a quarterback, okay.
There's people are going to buy some.
The Rams, I wouldn't pick up a Ty Simpson one yet.
I think people are going to, I think people are going to buy the Mansour Delane jersey pretty quick up in St. Joe. You're going to see that. Someone did say, in fairness, you get Ken Walker to sign the helmet. He is a Super Bowl MVP. You're just saying for the other team.
But for this team,
Yeah.
What number is Mansour Delane?
5.
So, just a thought.
There'll be a lot of 5 jerseys.
Does anybody regret having an autographed helmet of Trent McDuffie? No, because he won multiple Super Bowls.
Of course not. My nephew's got a couple autographs from McDuffie.
Yeah.
Anyway, up next, we'll get to the What's Trending segment here of the show. A lot going on, by the way, in the sports world. Also, we'll talk more about 2 players on the Royals who are showing promising signs heading in to a pretty big series tonight in Sacramento.
What's up, KC? It's Matt Strahm from the Kansas City Royals. You're listening to Cody and Gold on your home for Royals baseball, 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. 96.5 The Fan.
Liberty Mutual customized this song for you. Like your car insurance, it's custom too, yeah. Liberty Mutual's got the coverage that could save you money. Thanks to Doug and Limu, well now you can go and take that cruise. Liberty, 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 yeah.
Have you been diagnosed with head or neck cancer? At Kansas City Proton Institute, we're delivering the future of cancer care with state-of-the-art proton therapy right here in KC. Proton therapy means increased precision, reducing side effects like dry mouth, difficulty swallowing, and the loss of taste as compared to conventional radiation. If you've been diagnosed, don't wait. Get your second opinion today and see KC's largest, most experienced proton therapy team. Visit kcpi.com. Kansas City Proton Institute, where you see the best in KC.
This is one of my favorite times of the sports calendar, and FanDuel is celebrating it right. FanDuel is serving up a happy hour every day of the NBA playoffs. We're talking special drops that you don't want to miss, from profit boosts to bonus bets and more. The best part of this is it's every single day. All you need to do is head to FanDuel.com/local to get started. I absolutely love the NBA playoffs. I'm talking of every day, every night. Incredible basketball played at the highest level by the biggest stars in the game. So it doesn't matter if it's a buzzer beater or it's a series sweep. They got you covered over on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook app. So whether you're betting the early game or you're getting ready for the prime time, make sure that you open up the FanDuel app and see what's waiting for you today. Go to FanDuel.com/local to get started. That's FanDuel.com/local. FanDuel, an official partner of the NBA and also the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 are present in Missouri. Opt-in required. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expiration, leg requirements, and max wager amount. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
It's been life-changing. It really has. Went up to see QC Kinetics. I could feel the difference the way I got out of bed. I could feel the difference throughout the day. I could feel the difference while I was playing golf.
Let's rewind. That's an elated QC Kinetics patient, David Smoke, a very active TV and radio sports personality who loves to run and golf.
I started to notice some aches and pains, an aching, throbbing pain in my right hip. I didn't want to get cut on. I've had MRIs and it showed no structural damage. I've tried the steroid injections and that just seemed like it kicked the can down the road.
It's that endless cycle that leaves you continually fighting joint pain in your hips, knees, shoulders, and back. But this is where it ends with QC Kinetics regenerative treatments.
I've tried it all. The only thing that's different is me going to QC Kinetics. I believe in it because it's worked.
Don't waste another day going in circles. Make QC Kinetics your first call. The consultation is absolutely free.
Call QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. 816-412-6299.
When your plumbing systems need help, AB May is here to help your house feel like a home again. Serving Kansas City for over 65 years, AB May handles sump pumps, water heater installs, drain clearings, sewer line repairs, and much more. When it comes to your home, solved is our standard. AB May is committed to doing things the right way every time. Trusted by generations. Call AB May at 913-383-2222 or visit abmay.com today.
Call your serviceman from AB May.
I need a little range, step to the range.
There's a new flavor in town, the Jalapeno Ranch Club at Chick-fil-A. With that juicy Chick-fil-A original spicy or grilled chicken, a buttermilk ranch bun, candied bacon, pepper jack cheese, and jalapeno ranch sauce. It's got big ranch vibes with a little heat. Chick-fil-A's new Jalapeno Ranch Club. Available for a limited time only. Order ahead on the Chick-fil-A app.
I built this business the old-fashioned way. Hard work and a whole lot of spreadsheets.
Yeah, about that, I upgraded us to Odoo. Odoo puts everything we need, sales, inventory, accounting, on one connected platform. No more juggling systems, no more headaches.
So it all works together?
Exactly.
Odoo is the all-in-one business software that makes running and passing on a business easier than ever. Take your business into the next generation. Try Odoo free at odoo.com. That's ODOO.com.
David is a real Prevagen user, and this is his story.
Nice to meet you. My name is David. I've been a pharmacist for 44 years, and I'm from Flowery Branch, Georgia. When I first started taking Prevagen, I noticed stuff just seemed to come together and fit like a jigsaw puzzle. When I have customers come in, I recommend Prevagen. Number one, because it's safe and effective, does not require a prescription, and I've been taking it quite a while myself, and I know it works. I wouldn't recommend something like Prevagen if I didn't think it was worth it because it works so good for me. And I love it when the customers come back in and tell me, David, that really works so good. Makes my day.
Prevagen, at stores everywhere without a prescription. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Testimonialist was compensated for their time.
Hey Kansas City, this is Cole Reagans. On your way home from the K, tune into Vern's postgame show right here on your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan.
KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2 Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station. What's trending?
Cheddar, mozzarella, Havarti. What's trending is brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete, trusted in Kansas City since 1994. One contractor, all things parking lot.
Number one on What's Trending, the Royals back out they're out west in Sacramento, taking on the A's. Chris Bubich on the bump. 8:40 Central Time. First pitch tonight here on 96.5 The Fan. Vern's on deck show at 7:30. It'll be a late night for one Josh Vern here tonight with pre and post. Hopefully the Royals keep the winning ways going a little bit and can come back off this road trip, and all of a sudden we're sitting there at the end of April and saying, you know what? They somehow salvaged this thing from being a disastrous April. That's the hope. Chris Bubich going to try to get it done tonight.
Winners of 4 or 5, of course, are the Royals. So, yeah, like you said, hopefully that streak continues. The Cardinals have called up their number one prospects. Shortstop, Travis Bazzana. The second baseman was...
Guardian, sorry.
Guardian, sorry, yeah. I don't know. I was like, that's why I got hung up. It's all right.
Good.
The second baseman was the number one overall draft pick just back in the 2024 draft. He was one of the hot card chases there for a while.
Big
when you're
time.
the number one overall pick,
yeah.
that tends to be it. But he's also been called up. So the Guardians, who the Royals face next week at home in Kansas City, will have their number one prospect, Travis Bazzana, up with them.
Elsewhere tonight around 5:30, we're expected to find out where the number one prospect in college basketball will take his talents. Finally, Tyron Stokes will announce his decision at 5:30 on ESPN. It'll actually be on Inside the NBA, so he'll be interviewed and announce his decision with Chuck and Kenny, etc., on the crew there, and we'll find out. He's down to Kansas and Kentucky. Big change for rankings and all that, depending on where he chooses to go. I told you, I think if Kansas wants to be a national title contender next year, then they need Stokes. And I understand you might say they had the number one recruit last year, and Darren Peterson didn't matter. That doesn't mean you still don't want Tyron Stokes, still don't want the number one recruit in the country. So if they don't get him, it doesn't mean they won't be a decent team. I just don't think they're a national title contender without him.
Yeah, somebody's also mentioning, by the way, did you see in that Guardians game, that guy who stole the home run ball?
What about him?
Oh, just the general. Did you see it?
No.
Oh, dude, absolute. We could have done it for Trash of the Day. There's an adult fan who a home run ball hits his hand in the Guardians game.
Okay.
It bounces away and then lands in the hands of a young girl who he rips it away from.
No.
And is immediately like texting. He looks exactly like the person you'd think would steal a home run ball away from it. Just a grown-ass man stealing a ball from a kid.
If it's in the hands of another individual in general, you shouldn't be trying to strip the ball away. Okay, I did not see that.
He eventually returned it.
Oh, he did?
I think only because of shame. He probably found out pretty quick what happened there in the TV broadcast. You'll have to watch the video and break. Okay. Next up on What Trending, the Steelers have placed the rare, according to Adam Schefter, and I've never seen it, right of first refusal tender on Aaron Rodgers, meaning that he can accept a 10% raise off of last year's salary, which would pay him about $15 million this season. And the Steelers will also now have the right to match any offer sheet that he would sign with another team. As another condition of the tender, Rodgers would only be able to sign with the Steelers once training camp begins. So, like, I don't know what the hell's going on there. It's a weird tender. I've never heard of it. If training camp starts, he can only sign with the Steelers and no one else. But also, he said in January, I am not going to make this a long, drawn-out process. I plan on making a decision quickly. It is almost May.
Lastly, on what's trending news in Major League Baseball today, the Phillies have fired their manager, Rob Thompson. He managed the Phillies to 4 straight playoff appearances. They also, remember, made it to the World Series in 2022. He's been replaced by Don Mattingly, who will serve as Philadelphia's interim manager. This is now 2 managers fired in the last week, going back to Alex Cora and his coaching staff with the Boston Red Sox. Rob Thompson also played baseball at the University of Kansas. Drafted out of KU.
Yeah, that's what's trending here on Cody and Gold, brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete, trusted in Kansas City since 1994. One contractor, all things parking lot. Summer to Diana Rossini, he deleted all of his social media page. I think he runs like a small business, and then he got crushed.
The guy that
the guy who stole the home run ball.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm. Dude, it looks so bad. One, I just, like, don't steal this from kids, but like the way he immediately was texting and the fact that he dropped it and then clearly, you got to watch it now. He clearly rips it from this kid. So here it is, knocks off his hand. It's in the girl's hand.
Oh, he's on the ground fighting for it with her? Oh, that's a terrible look.
And then immediately cut him like, yeah, I did it. Number 1, I'm the best. And then he starts texting people, and the girl's crying because she said she didn't get the home run ball.
Oh, what a mess.
Oh, he's already texting his boys about how I caught this home run ball.
Oh, the Guardians looked like they came over and gave her
of course. They know
stuff.
what's up.
What a mess.
She said he later gave her the home run ball. Yeah, I bet you did. Too late.
Yeah, not a smart decision. We'll get to all 32 in the NFL coming up in about 7 minutes or so. But let's talk some more about the Royals. I think we all acknowledge this is a big series for them against the A's to try to continue the momentum of winning 4 of 5. The A's are actually the first place Sacramento A's right now in the American League West. They currently occupy that top spot. And this is a Royals team that we all know dug themselves a hole, played better baseball here the last week. Can they finish off this month on a high note and to where when they're coming back to Kauffman, suddenly you can say, all right, they're 2 out of 500 or 2 off of the 500 pace to at least get, I think, fans back on board, because there were a lot of fans that after the dismal start that said, all right, wake me up, when, June ends, basically, right?
Yeah.
And so
I'll talk to you later for a minute. Yeah, I get it.
So can they inch closer to 500? This is a big series to do that. This is not your old A's, though, where you think it's just an easy series. This is an A's team playing some good baseball right now. Chris Bubich, though, is on the bump. And 2 players for this team that are hitting right now that we said before the season needed to hit for them to get to where they want to go. If it wasn't for these 2 players, then this team would not have won 4 of 5. I'm talking about Carter Jensen and, of course, Jack Caglione. Carter Jensen's been hitting really from the beginning, and Jack Caglione the last week or so has, and he just came up with the huge home run, of course, the other night to extend the game there with 2 outs in the 9th.
Well, it is interesting. You had pointed out they haven't won a road game since April 6th.
Yeah, 3 weeks ago.
Because they got swept in their last road series. And then they had homestands, obviously, on either side of that. So it's not like they've just lost 30 road games in a row. But April 6th, that's the last time you won a home game 3 full weeks ago. So it does feel like you got to get off to a good start. And look, while you and I, just on Monday, we're not willing to say, they're back, all is right, problem solved. Everybody look here, the Royals are back. We both said that, like, the next 15 games matter. If they're ever going to do it, if they're going to turn this season around, get back to 500, which would be, to me, a mark of, like, okay, you have a chance. Mm-hmm. Like, you're in this thing again. Carter Jensen and Jack Caglione were going to have to be good if they were making the playoffs no matter what. So while I'm not saying or here to tell you that all their problems are solved, the fact that Carter Jensen since April 1st has hit 296 with a 383 on base, with 6 homers and 5 homers since that time, 6 homers on the season, 14 RBI and 9 walks, and Jack Caglione is hitting 271 with a 354 on base and 2 home runs during that time and 7 extra base hits. I think that says a little bit of something about the 2 young guys are right now doing the kind of things you needed them to do in order to be a playoff team. They're going to have to keep doing it. Maybe not hit at that level. If you'd have told me those were their season-long stats, and both of them are a little bit lower because they had a few tough games to start, I'd have been over the moon. I'd have been thrilled at the possibilities. But the young guys are performing. The rotation is performing. Now the offense is performing. They've scored, I think, 5 runs in 6 straight games. They've scored 11 in 2 straight games. Everybody's getting free Hawaiian Bros, apparently, because they're at home and winning baseball games and scoring a lot of runs. So, like, they got to figure out a way to, like, take advantage of the fact that Jack Caglione and Carter Jensen are hitting. And the biggest difference is that Salvi and Vinny still aren't or haven't consistently. They've been hitting more home runs. But the fact that those two guys are good, Gold, that's the need. And, I don't know. Somebody asked, does that save Zumwalt's job? Like, is that I was like, well, I want young players to hit, and they're hitting, so sure. Mm-hmm. It doesn't excuse how slow the offense is starting. Now, how they can't figure out. You know who else starts slow in offense, but you don't notice it as much because it's only slow by his standard? Bobby. Bobby's hitting 295 with a 365 on base, and you're like, that's not exactly starting slow, Cody. Why is it that the power numbers are always quiet? Jake Eisenberg pointed this out last week, and I hadn't thought about it. The year in which he had a career-high in home runs, he only had 2 at the end of April. Last year, he only had 1 at the end of April, in which he had 23. Why does Bobby start so slow in the power department? You got any ideas on that? Just a slow starting bunch.
This entire team, it's been a problem in April, and the good news is the calendar is about to turn over to May here very soon. And so, based on prior history, you would think they're going to start playing some better baseball. I will say, no matter what the season ends up being, when they had the worst record in baseball, I think everybody acknowledged they were not going to be the worst team in baseball here. That's not the debate. The push is not now to prove that you're not the worst team in baseball. It's about
get back in contention.
Can you get back to 500 and then reset at that point and then go from there and see where you're at. That first challenge is getting back to 500, and then we can have a conversation again about where they're at. The expectation is still the same, which is playoff team, compete, win the division. But in order to even have that conversation still, they have to get to 500. And the good news, if they're able to have a nice series out in Sacramento against the A's, then suddenly a disastrous April just turns into a bad April. And that's the difference of you maybe being able to salvage your season.
Yeah, I just and I guess it's not even just getting it back to 500. It's like, how quickly can you do it? Like, I do think
prove to me you can win on the road, too. I mean, you said it. Prove to me you can win on the road.
These are 2 good teams.
Against a quality opponent in Sacramento. So that's why I think it's a big series. It sucks that it's, of course, always the West Coast late night stuff. But so I don't know how many people are staying up watching the game fully. But 8:40 tonight.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, the late part always stinks. But there's also, unless you're an NBA fan, you and I will watch some NBA playoffs. But unless you're an NBA fan, it's not like some other local team to watch tonight, I don't think. Either.
No, I mean, I'll watch some NBA playoffs tonight as well. But like this one, and I get what the texter's saying, but it's fine for everybody else. I hate this excuse. Well, the ball just doesn't carry well in April. That's why. Now, maybe that was just in direct response to your question about Bobby. But in general, like, other teams in baseball figure it out in April that even are in.
Some people have 10 home runs.
And sometimes when they come to Kauffman Stadium too. So I hate that. That's an excuse. I hate that. It's been happening way too long. Ball doesn't carry in April stuff.
Royals, by the way, are up to the 22nd or 21st ranked offense in runs per game after a hot streak. So remember, we had said they needed to be 15th. Their biggest weakness right now still appears to be the bullpen. Even in the games in which, like the one they came from behind 2 days ago, the bullpen is what was making it actively hard to complete the comeback.
Oh, and I still think the bullpen is a problem.
Oh, it's a huge problem. And they should do something about it, honestly. I'm a little surprised they haven't. Maybe we can talk about that tomorrow, but I'm a little surprised they haven't done anything about it, but it'd sure be nice if they did. But like run differential and all this other stuff, it's like other teams find a way to score, whether it's April or not.
Yeah. So when did hitting 270 be a good thing? I thought that was...
that's better than league average.
It happened, I don't know, 5 to 8 years ago. That's what I would say. Yeah, 2010, if you were hitting 270, you're like, it's just different game right now. Hitting anywhere near 275 or better is above average.
270 is legitimately it's well above average.
Yeah.
Do you want to know? I'll just
right now, sure.
239 is the average, I bet.
The last time,
it's way different.
The last time 270 was you were a league average player in baseball. 2000. Was the last time 270 was
solid. I've always kind of
250 would put you as above average.
I've always thought above 250.
242, 245, 243, 248, 243, 244. These are all the years. They're all the same. The last time it was over 250, the league average, was 2019 when it was 252.
Yeah, so that's why the text is 275. Yeah, for a young,
that's a great average
for a young player like Carter Jensen hitting anywhere near that. Yeah, you'll sign up for that. For CAGs, anywhere near that, absolutely sign up for that.
Are there people actually out there who thought that whoever thought that under 300 was like, that's fine?
The text said,
I think you usually have
the text said, I'm old, but old days. If you hit below, I think is what they meant to say. If you hit below 300, you were average at best. I mean,
that's insane.
If you hit above
maybe
300,
in like this,
even for all time, if you hit under 300, if you thought that in the 1920s, if you thought people under 300 were average at best, you think you're still crazy.
It is a minuscule sample size, as in averages are inflated right now because of the lack of games played. And to hit 300, if you were hitting 300 right now, you would have a top 25 batting average in baseball.
Yeah, you're an elite
player.
player.
There are only 25 players in baseball hitting over 300, and that's on April 28th. Talk to me on June 28th, and it'll be 10. It might be less. I mean, genuinely, how many players do you think last year hit 300? I can look it up.
15 or less than 15.
Wrong. Yeah, it was less. Less than 15 is correct. I just looked it up. It didn't take that long because it was already on the page. 7 guys hit over 300. Aaron Judge, Bo Bichette, Jacob Wilson, George Springer, Jeremy Pena, Trey Turner, and Yandy Diaz. That's it. Bobby was 9th best in baseball at 295.
And in 2024, Bobby had the best batting average in baseball, 332. Vladdy, 323. Aaron Judge, 322. Arise, 314. Shohei, 310. Alvarez, 308. Ozuna, 302. And then there's a bunch of guys.
Yeah, like somebody said for the 300 is a Hall of Fame average. Yeah. If
again,
you think
Shohei Ohtani hit
average at
310.
best is insane to me.
Yeah, that's why in 2024, the year the Royals made the playoffs, when Bobby hit 332 and should have won MVP, that was why he was having a ridiculous season.
I was curious. I couldn't remember who had the Major League lead for batting average all time. It is Ty Cobb. All the people, by the way, who lead in batting average are all like a completely different era of baseball players.
Ted Williams, those guys?
Dude, it's Ty Cobb, Oscar Charleston, Roger Hornsby.
And what were their averages?
Shoeless Joe Jackson, 362 is Ty Cobb.
Yeah, they're all in the Hall of Fame.
We'll get to all 32. Do want to pass this along, just a small bit of news on the college basketball front as relates to former Kansas State men's basketball coach. According to Pete Thamel, Baylor's finalizing a multi-year deal to hire Jerome Tang as the school's new associate head coach. We all know he was a longtime assistant there under Scott Drew before leaving for Kansas State in 2022. Now, does that offset the money that K-State owes? Now, it's not going to offset
a few $100,000.
It's not going to offset $16 million or whatever the dollar amount was or is. That K-State owes them, believes they don't owe them, depending on who you talk to.
I think you and I talked about this. This is how this should always go. He was a longtime assistant, 20 years under this man. And now they'll let him be the associate head coach. And the truth is or assistant head coach or whatever they're going to call it, associate head coach.
Associate, yeah.
If Scott Drew retires in 10 years, they might let Tang do the job. It's his only chance probably to be a college basketball head coach again. And again, he was a 20-year assistant under Scott Drew. That'd be the least surprising thing to me of all time. So good for Jerome Tang. Yeah. Hopefully it goes okay there at Baylor, and we'll figure it out from there.
All right, let's get to all 32, a little offseason edition. I'll start out in Buffalo, where the Bills now are acting like they love wide receiver Keon Coleman. You guys remember the general manager comments from at the end of the Bills season after losing in the playoffs, where their general manager just basically put the vehicle in reverse and ran over Keon Coleman in terms of his comments. Well, they're now acting like they love him, that they turned down trade offers. Quote, we've hit the reset button with him, and hopefully the fan base and everyone's behind him. I think this will be his best years yet to come here in 2026. Well, you're keeping him, so you better kiss his ass a little bit now and not act like
he stinks.
Yeah, but look, this is the last year for Keon Coleman either way, I think, in Buffalo. But
that is quite the spin zone.
Brandon Bean.
Also, I
only did all 32 on that just so I could play the Brandon Bean.
I do think it's funny for somebody to just be like, that's how it works. Well, I just said it's a restart, so everything's fine now. That's not how playing a sport works.
I still don't think they use Keon Coleman the way he's supposed to be used at all.
Maybe
Brandon Bean.
He's not a route runner.
So
he's not a route runner. He never was at Florida State.
In fairness, new scheme, new system, new coach.
Throw the ball up to that man and watch him go do his thing. That's who Keon Coleman is.
Speaking of offenses, I have a plan for one of the worst teams in the NFL, the Cleveland Browns.
Oh, boy.
They should, in the first 16 games this year, give 4 starts to each of the 4 quarterbacks and just find out who's the best.
They had a really good draft, actually. They had a really good draft.
Why not? It's not like they know. Deshaun can get 4. Dylan Gabriel can get 4. Sanders can get 4.
And Taylon Green?
And Taylon Green
Let's go.
can get 4. Everybody gets 4. Equal footing. You can get them in order of how long you've been here, how many games you started last year.
That actually might be the best
If
decision.
at any point you get a hot hand, I might give you a fifth.
That might be the
you
best
can get
decision.
the bonus fifth game.
That might be the best decision, Cody, that they'll have made in years at the quarterback position. Legitimately. You know what we're going to do? We have a plan. We're not just going to fly by the seat of our pants.
This is our plan.
We will give you all 4 games.
Not enough offseason reps to go around.
No, that's why the regular season, you're the starter.
Correct.
Not
These
enough
are your 4
offseason
games.
reps.
Yes.
Doesn't matter how bad it goes. Doesn't matter how good it goes. These are your 4.
Which is why Taylor Green will get the last 4 because he'll have all those. He'll have all that time to learn the system, get used to it. Perfect.
You got to find out if you got to scrap all 4 of these guys in the offseason.
I actually think that's a really good idea.
I don't need all 4 to play to know I got to scrap it. None of the 4 are the long-term answer now. I don't need this plan. I don't need that plan
Well,
either.
at least it's fun.
I'm glad they drafted Taylor Green. I told you, I think some team should absolutely draft him, and he's got all sorts of athleticism. Be curious to see if anybody has some design packages, and now he's in Cleveland, so probably not going to go well for him, unfortunately, because of that. But I do think that was a smart pick. But Deshaun Watson might be their week 1 starter.
Yeah.
And considering they're paying him as much, they probably should play him.
Again, 4 games for everybody. The best player gets the bonus 5th game.
Yeah.
And
fine.
I'll give it to you at any time. You have a 4-game stretch in which you look good, I'll just give you the 5th then. But we're
Fine.
still switching to Taylor Green.
I think that's
We're
fine.
going to find out if he's better than you.
Legitimately, I think that would be the best
That's
idea
great if
that
we were
they've had in
playing
years.
Madden video game. It's a great idea.
Well, at this point, playing regular football hasn't done anything for that team.
Maybe they should use AI, right, Cody?
I think AI would actually AI actually might say, you know what, you want to determine who your starter should be? Go ahead and even it up for everybody.
While Drew gives his answer, I'll search it real quick and see if it says if that's a good idea by me.
Okay.
Mile 32.
I'll tell you it will. It'll appease me.
Mile 32 is about Ruben Bain. So I don't think I've ever been more invested in a player that either I'm not covering, whether it be here in Kansas City, of course, or whether they're on the Bengals or not, than Ruben Bain Jr. And the reason why is I'm pulling for him because the whole short arm thing and Bink and everybody making fun of him. I want him to be a dog. I'm glad that he is in the NFC. I don't know if you guys saw this. His walk up to get his hat and to go out on stage, he looked pissed. He didn't, you know how everybody stands in front of the mirror and looks at the hat and everything like that? He didn't even look at the mirror. He swiped the hat. You could see he had an attitude when he did it. Swiped the hat, walked straight out, and I'm telling you, he is going to be a lot of fun to watch for me personally because I want him to be really good. He doesn't have the lineup. Well, he doesn't have the hair cut off. He didn't have a lineup, nothing. He looks like a straight-up football player, and I am very excited to see how good he's going to be. God dang!
I will say
he was not happy walking to that podium after getting passed up. He swiped that hat, didn't even look at the hat. He just grabbed it as he was walking. Didn't look in the mirror, nothing.
I didn't like my plan. I said, is it a good idea for the Cleveland Browns to play each of their 4 quarterbacks in 4 games each and see who really is the best quarterback determining your future? No. It would be a mess.
Yes, it would be.
1, no continuity in offense.
No,
2,
you should
you'd
have
stunt
followed up.
development. 3, the locker room would hate it. 4, it ignores game-to-game context.
Cody, follow it up and
5,
say,
it's
what
not
do
how
you suggest?
evaluation works.
Cody, follow it
AI
up.
is spot on there.
Cody, follow it up and ask what their suggestion is for the Browns because right now, as you said, nothing's been working. If anything, it's gotten worse.
I'll say, how would you fix the Cleveland Browns then against
I legitimately
smart
am
guy?
curious now.
I'm going to be rude to it.
Uh-huh.
What are we doing?
I also am very
What
excited.
are we doing?
I also am very excited, too, by the way, for Cassius Howe, who's from KC and said he's glad to be a Bengal and not a Chief. I love it.
Yeah, it's easy to say.
I love it.
Easy to say on draft night.
And he's from
Very
KC.
easy.
Let's go, baby. I'm
Yeah.
excited about
It's
that.
unfortunate he's from Kansas City in this regard.
Unfortunately,
because
he's going to sack Patrick Mahomes a couple times, too, man.
I don't think so. Unfortunately, his career would have been
You
way
can keep
better
on thinking
somewhere else.
positively, but when he's lined up across from Jalen Moore, watch out, baby.
I don't think it's Chiefs have anything to worry about when it comes to Cincinnati.
Oh, we're going to cut that.
Yeah.
Fine. Fine.
I will guarantee you right now. I will guarantee you right now.
A guarantee.
Guarantees are dangerous on this show.
Guarantee. We'll have to come up with a bet of some kind, of some sort. The Bengals are going to beat the Chiefs straight up.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to say
Straight up
finish
money
with a
line.
record.
No. Straight up money line.
Just a one-off game in the regular season. Again, we've gone over this for history.
No excuses. No excuses when they lose and say, well, it's a regular season game. It doesn't matter because it's the Chiefs.
But it's a reminder. No, what's coming is because you said it every single time, which is that your Super Bowl is regular season matchups
I've
against
never
the
said
Chiefs.
that.
That's how
you've claimed it. I've never said that.
I think you just
My
proved,
Super Bowl is the one that they went to.
That's the case.
No, I know. No, the reason I said that it's a big game is because he is from Kansas City and said, I don't want to be a Chief. after rooting for the Chiefs his whole life because they passed on him.
And it's unfortunate for him that happened. And now he's stuck in Loserville, Cincinnati.
With his,
careful now. The Chiefs have the same record.
30-inch arms.
It doesn't matter. The Chiefs also have 3 rings in the last 5 years.
No, I understand that, but you can, don't call a place Loserville when the
They
season
are.
prior.
It is what Cincinnati is.
Do not call a place
Absolutely,
when
it's
Loserville when the season prior they had as bad of a season when the quarterback missed less games.
Cincinnati as a city, as an organization, is Loserville, USA. All right, up next, we will get into some expectations. You can say
it as loud as you want
10.
to. It's not true. You can say it as loud as you want to. Keep on raising the voice.
I just did. Thank you, Drew. You can cut that for the morning show as well if you want. You can get to the random question today as well next.
You're listening to Cody and Gold. Tune in for the Chiefs Red Half Hour every day, starting at 11:30 right here on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
All right, the first leg in horse racing's Triple Crown is Saturday. So whether you're watching from the track or the comfort of your couch, you can bet the Kentucky Derby on the same place you can bet on all your other favorite sports, on FanDuel. And right now, all customers can get a Derby bet reset. That means you'll get racing bonus back if your bet doesn't win. The app, well, it's super easy to use, and you don't have to be a horse racing expert to get in on the Derby Day action. You can bet the fastest 2 minutes in sports on FanDuel and make it that much more exciting with your Derby bet reset. Kentucky Derby and Kentucky Oaks are registered trademarks of Churchill Downs Incorporated. FanDuel Sportsbook's the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 in President, Missouri. Verified FanDuel racing account required. Refund issued as non-withdrawable racing site credit that expires 9 days after receipt. Max refund $10 unless otherwise specified. Restrictions apply. See terms at racing.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Performance matters in intimate moments. Don't let ED ruin them. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and I want to assure you that if you're like the vast majority of guys, you don't have to suffer with ED anymore. In fact, you might be pleasantly surprised at how the right treatments could positively impact your love life. At Heartland Men's Health, our advanced medical therapies go far beyond pills. We have treatments that are effective in well over 90% of cases, and we offer specific and combinative treatments that can dramatically enhance both your performance and your stamina. You could even last up to an hour or more and bring a far greater level of intimacy to both you and the one you love, perhaps performing like you haven't in years. So call us today and find out why our advanced treatment strategies offer so much more. Your first visit is just $99 and gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. Heartland Men's Health, advanced medical science to improve men's lives.
Hey, it's Rex here with Rex Buys KC. I get it. Selling your house can sometimes feel overwhelming or scary, right? I've seen it too many times. A homeowner thought they had a deal, only to have the buyer back out at the last minute. That's not how we do business at Rex Buys KC. I'm local, I know Kansas City, and I make sure every deal actually closes like it's supposed to. No hidden fees, no showings, no last-minute surprises, just a fair cash offer and a process you can count on. We buy homes in any condition and judgment-free. So whether your house needs repairs or you just want a fast, hassle-free sale, we can make it happen. If you want certainty, transparency, and someone local who actually delivers, call 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com. Rex Buys KC, helping people make smart choices one home at a time. 816-330-6000 or rexbuyskc.com.
At Liberty Mutual, we love helping people with things like customizing car insurance, just like how we customize a song for you. Catered country tune. Liberty Mutual, saving you bucks by protecting your truck. 'Cause Purdy told me to only pay for what I need. Thank you, Limu. I'll always trust in Limu with Liberty, 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 Liberty.
Hi, I'm Emily, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company, where fine jewelry is always crafted with care no matter the price. Mother's Day, birthdays and graduations, weddings and anniversaries, the new job you got, and even the one you didn't. Give a birthstone necklace, a heart-shaped locket made in Italy, or high-quality diamond studs you can trade up every year. At Shane Company, we have something for everyone. Because a friend wants you to win the gifting game. Visit us in store or at shaneco.com. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Baseball and community go hand in hand. And with Pitch, Hit, and Run, you can make a lasting impact.
Here we go.
Register to showcase the foundational skills of young athletes from your local community in the official youth skills competition of Major League Baseball, known as Pitch, Hit, and Run. Make an impact today. Pitch, Hit, and Run. Visit playball.org to sign up today.
Carpal tunnel syndrome, heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines. These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. Amvuttra, vutrisiran, is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, Amvuttra was proven to help people live longer and have fewer heart-related hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. Amvuttra lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision. Other side effects include pain in the arms or legs, pain in the joints, and shortness of breath. These are not all the possible side effects of Amvuttra. For prescribing information, call 1-833-256-2748 or learn more at amvuttra.com. Ask your doctor about Amvuttra for ATTR-CM.
Whoa. Okay, this one says you get a free phone if you switch. Hey, this one also says you get a free phone if you switch.
Yeah, they all do, hon.
Wait. The T-Mobile one says families saved over $3,700 versus the other big guys in the past 5 years. And their experience plans have Netflix included, plus a year of Dash Pass by DoorDash.
Hang on, let me see that. And a 5-year price guarantee? Oh yeah, we're switching.
That's what I'm talking about. Do we clap now, or?
I'm thinking half-half.
At T-Mobile, get savings that keep stacking up. That's value you can feel every day. Switch now at T-Mobile.
Savings based on Harris X billing snapshots from Q3 2021 to Q4 2025 among accounts with 3+ voice lines compared to AT&T and Verizon, excluding discounts, credits, and optional charges. See harrisx.com/T-Mobile. Price guarantee on talk, text, and data. Exclusions like taxes and fees apply. See T-Mobile.com.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Hey, it's Rob Brennan. We hope you're enjoying Beyond the Pitch KC, a podcast on how Kansas City landed the world's biggest sporting event. It's presented by Commerce Bank. Visit commercebank.com/soccer26. New episodes released every Wednesday on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
All right, back here on Cody and Gold. We'll get to the random question of the day in about 8 minutes or so. So I saw this come across the timeline during the break. Just more detail on the Chiefs draft night. This was from Sports Illustrated, from the Browns side of things, where we know Kansas City traded up with Cleveland to get from 9 to 6. Albert Breer said that Andrew Berry, the GM, gave some context to how it pulled the trade off. He said Veach's offer came after the Giants took Reese, which, by the way, I think clears up the weird controversy.
I don't know why we were having to defend that on Monday.
On Friday, when we were getting
Friday,
text from people saying the Chiefs traded up before they knew the Giants took Reese. That's not true. Veach offer came after the Giants took Reese, put Cleveland on the clock, and it said Andrew Berry asked Brett Veach one thing to push the deal past the goal line. He wanted to know whether Kansas City would be taking an offensive or defensive player. Veach answered defense. That's when Berry agreed to the terms. The Browns have their left tackle. That happens plenty of times when someone makes a call. You don't want to trade if you're Cleveland and the Chiefs say, oh, yeah, we're trading up for offense, and you get nervous they're trading up for the player that you want.
That's not an uncommon
so that
question.
happens, but it's always interesting to hear some of the stories from draft night, and that was just one that came across the timeline during the break.
It also, I guess, said that he asked for the 5th in exchange. The value made sense, but because it's a last-minute deal, the 5th was the, hey, let's get this thing over the finish line portion of the deal for Cleveland. We know Kansas City overpaid, but you normally do in free agency and if you're trading up in the top 10 of the NFL draft. Again, I'm not upset with the player. The process part and what they gave up bothers me a little. If he turns into an all-pro, well, then they got it right. I would have waited till 9 and risked it because I do still think the Cleveland Browns were going to take Fano anyway, and you would have had to duck, admittedly, 7 and 8. You'd have had to hope that both of those teams didn't like Delane as much as you liked Delane, which was certainly a risk and maybe not the case, but I might have taken that chance. And the other guy, as Drew mentioned, like Ruben Bates, I'm going to pay attention to. Because if he ends up turning into a 10-sack guy in the NFL, I'm going to say, well, you definitely should have waited till 9. And if for some reason Delane wasn't available there anymore, you could have taken a defensive end. Unless Delane is also a star, in which case, obviously, it just changes the math. So in the top 10, I think we can more than fair play the, oh, but look at what this guy did comp. Because you pretty much had your choice of players after Arvell Reese got selected. So we'll see which way it goes. Let's talk about the Chiefs before we get to the random question of the day in just a few minutes. We were getting into the debate earlier, and numbers-wise, we don't sound dramatically off. As in, if you just say like a number 1 through 10, we're not so far off. But obviously, stylistically-wise, we're a little bit different. Where do you expect? It's April 28th. It's very early. Hell, even all the signings aren't done yet. We haven't seen a single training camp. Where should the season expectations be point per game-wise for the Chiefs offense and the Chiefs defense? And I had said, I think on offense, it should be top 10. And for defense, I think it should be top 5. Drew was more like outside the top 10 for offense, inside the top 10 for defense. And you said top 10, top 5 for both. You weren't as far off from that, but more on the higher end on the offense, and that the defense being near 5, getting in that range. I think that they, based on what they've spent, they got to be a top 5 defense. I think that's more than fair. Offense, a little more leery on, but they did bring in Ken Walker.
Yeah, not top 5 expectation for defense though, because I still don't know where the hell they're getting their pass rush from. Yeah. So to me, it's top 10, but it's in that 7 to 8 range for the defense because they lose Trent McDuffie and they lose pieces in the secondary. Yes, they go and get Mansour Delane, who we all think is going to be great and has to be great, but immediately are they getting that type of production? I'm not sure. You know, my biggest issue still with the offseason is, and maybe they'll sign Cam Jordan or somebody like that, and then that clears this all up. If you tell me they sign Cam Jordan tomorrow, then it is a top 5 expectation defensively. But I can't get there now because I still think on the side opposite Karlaftis, they're rotating Gelati and Mason Thomas, Mason Thomas, and just some unproven guys, and that concerns me. So that's why I'm not going to put the expectation.
They say Cam Jordan tomorrow, you might change your number.
Can they get there eventually? Maybe, but I'm not going to expect that. Offensively, it's obviously a top 10 offense expectation, but not top 5 when I have a quarterback coming off his ACL.
Top 5's too far.
Top 5 coming off an ACL and LCL injury. They have a wide receiver room that we acknowledge their number 2 wide receiver has yet to prove that he is capable of being a true number 2 wide receiver in the league. So, yeah, I can't go any higher than that. I think offensively it's top 10 expectation, literally might be 10. And then defense, it's most realistically in that 7 to 8 range, best case scenario.
Yeah, top 10 is not like top 10 with upper 3 potential, okay? So, like, on offense. I think it's top 10 with upper top 7 potential on offense. I'm not like out of this. So we're not on offense. It sounds like we're on par. And a lot of that is just because it's Patrick Mahomes. I borderline don't care who's around him. If it's Andy Reid and Patrick Mahomes.
But this is a year where he's coming off a serious injury.
I only pointed out, which I think is still fair, that he was coming off a serious injury, but I think his circumstances were worse last year as far as total people around him. And they were 11th before he got hurt. And I know that they finished in the 20s, but they were 11th when he got hurt. And that's all that matters to me. The final games in which Chris Oladokun started don't tell me anything about where the offense totally ranks. So 10th, they brought in Ken Walker. That seems fine. That's a fair thing. The defensive part, and I understand the pass rush part, they're better on the pass rush, though, than they were last year. And they were 6th or 5th, depending on which site you look at, in points per game. They didn't get worse at corner. They had the, Mansour, or they didn't get significantly worse. Even if it's worse, we looked it up. In the last 10 years, there's 4 cornerbacks taken in the top 10 in the NFL draft. They are 5. They are 3 guys who are superstars. 3 of the guys you would consider some of the best corners in the league pretty much right away. One's a dud. That's the guy the Lions took a few years back.
Or whatever.
Yeah, Jeff Okudah, who's still in the NFL, I think, but just like a journeyman at this point, and one okay corner. So the history would suggest decent shot at getting a serious dude right away. But I just Mike Dana and Tillery and all these guys in the defensive line. They were some of the worst rated pass rushers in the NFL. Based on snaps, Mike Dana was the worst edge player in the NFL last year. So, like, I just think that they're better from all the guys you listed. Year 2 of Gelati, year 2 of Omar Norman-Lott, R. Mason Thomas at pick 40. And there's no reason to think that can't, it doesn't mean it will, but like that could go the same way it did with George Karlaftis. They're not that far apart in picks. You're talking about 10, 15 picks apart.
The question with him is the undersized aspect
that's fair.
of his game. That's not usually who Spags, drafts, quote unquote. But and I understand that's the front office coaching staff connection that needs to be more on the same page than I think what it has been. The thing is, they don't have the luxury of not playing some of these guys. Some of these guys are just going to have to play the younger guys,
Mason included,
and he's one of them. He's going to still rotate in, I think, though.
Yeah, but I do think he's an immediate impact player. And they had nobody impactful on the defensive line outside of Karlaftis and Jones last year. None. And at least this year, and look, I understand Gelati was a part of that mix, but their depth, someone said earlier, I don't like their, on YouTube, I think they had said, hey, I don't like their defensive line depth. How are you going to justify that on the defensive end? Their defensive line depth, and I don't know if you guys agree, I think it is significantly better than it was last year. Genuinely. It's young. And in areas unproven, not in all areas, but in some areas unproven. I'm not denying that. But we saw the output from last year's, and they weren't particularly deep. They didn't even have some of the depth they were planning on having in guys like Felix. And I don't think Felix is a star. You've said openly that you're not even sure that he'll be a player who makes the roster, and that's fair. But their depth, their starting 4 were Dana, Noddy, and then the same 2 guys are there, Jones and Karlaftis. Dana, Noddy?
Well, that was one thing that Brett Veach even said after they took Peter Woods in the first round is like, we already think that the line is better than what it was last year, and then they went ahead and took R. Mason Thomas after that.
Mm-hmm. Here's their depth last year. It was Ashton Gelati his rookie year, Malik Herring, Zach Pickens was apparently on the roster
they
for a little
brought
while.
in the middle of the season.
Noddy, Pennell.
We didn't even talk about that crazy story when we were flying back.
Well, in fairness, it was like...
It's so bizarre.
I don't know what's going on with it. I didn't know how the hell we'd even talk about it.
You texted us while we were on the flight.
He's technically a person of interest in a woman's death in the Dominican Republic.
Bizarre.
But it was in a house that he no longer lives in at a time in which he wasn't home that this woman went missing. And they hadn't heard from her since early September. He sold the home.
Pennell called the story fake news and in response to ESPN. It's very bizarre. I have no idea what to make of it. Just the headline itself, of course, is never anything anybody wants to see. But
he said, I'm not legally involved, and he was not in the Dominican Republic at the time in which
the season was about to start.
Yeah, so I don't.
That was a crazy story.
I'm not even going to try to dip my toe in the water of that story because I don't have any idea what's going on with it. But it's like, they're better. The defensive line's better. The secondary is this, I think, like a little bit worse or maybe as good.
The reason for me putting the defense top 10 is because of the same reasons that I brought up when they traded Trent McDuffie is you're trading your all-pro player for a hope that you can get the output. We'll see what it is this year, which is why I think the expectation is just knowing how good Trent McDuffie is. My thought process from the beginning of it was I wouldn't trade a guy like that. I would expect him to be top 10. If they're not top 10, if they're not even top 10, whether that means...
a problem if they're not top 10.
Then I think that means that...
We're not a playoff team.
That means the defensive line didn't work out. That means that Mansour Delane might be really good, but Noah Williams took a step back, or Christian Fulton isn't as good, or Alohi Gilman, like they're missing things on the back end. So there's... Which is why I'm hesitant to say top 5, because I think those are too high expectations for unknowns. And that's kind of what we've got with the Chiefs right now, whether it's Gelati,
it's fair.
Norman Lott coming off the injury, R. Mason Thomas, the rookie, Mansour Delane, the rookie, Alohi Gilman, we don't know what he looks like, especially when Brian Cook was as good as he was and reliable. I think there's a lot of questions regarding the defense. That's why I don't expect them to be as good.
And Drew and I, shockingly, are more aligned on the feeling about what they actually are going to do next year as a team than you are. Based on your expectation, I would say your expectations are that they're well, I think based on your expectation, it's that you think they can be one of the 3 or 4 best teams in the AFC. I don't think they're there yet in 2026.
I guess, I think the difference is you think they're the 7 seed and I think they're the 4. And when you're saying you think they're
think they're a division winner.
Drew's saying top 10, top 10. I'm saying top 5, top 10. You're saying top 7, top 10. We're not as far off as we think, but I'm not denying the fact that the difference between you're the 7th or 8th best defense and you're the 5th best defense is probably the difference between.
We can look up the exact.
No, I mean, there were 3 teams last year that were top 10 in both. They were all
in
some of the final
title
contenders.
games.
Well, and to me, regardless of where they're at in this scoring, to me, the expectation for the Chiefs, they win the division. Like to me, they should be a 1, 2, or 3, 1, 2, 3, or 4 seed. They should. They have Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah,
they should be They should win the division with him. Now, whether or not they rank in the top 10 of either of them, I don't know if it necessarily. I mean, it might not take that for them to win the division for all we know. But as far as their standing, not necessarily like the averages, but if we're talking the AFC standings, they should be one of the top 4 seeds, and you should expect that every single year, regardless of how quote-unquote good the defense or offense is, because you got Patrick Mahomes and you got Andy Reid.
Yeah, I mean, someone says nothing the Chiefs are a top 3 team. The AFC is hilarious. I mean, I hate to break it to you. I'll be gladly proven wrong on this, but entering the season, you cannot sell me they're a top 3 team in the entire conference. I'm sorry. That to me, that seems that comment saying they are a top 3 team in the AFC to me seems way crazier than me saying they're more like the 6th best team in the AFC.
So I guess part of this is also like, what is a better for them thing to be? If they're only going to be top 10 in one, what is more telling? Last year, of the 10 teams who finished with a top 10 defense, only 2 didn't make the playoffs. One was the Kansas City Chiefs. The other was the Minnesota Vikings. Every single other team who was a top 10 defensive team was a playoff team. Last year, of the 10 best offenses in the league, the only one who didn't make the playoffs was Indianapolis. Dallas make the playoffs? Or no?
Dallas was not a playoff team.
Okay, so
That's 'cause
2.
the defense was so bad.
So, and Detroit. So 3 of the top 7 defenses or offenses didn't make the playoffs.
They should rather. I'd rather have a good defense because that's kind of been their.
That's where they sold.
That's been their strong point the last 2 years, the last 3 years when they went to the Super Bowl and won it, and then went the year after that and lost to the Eagles.
But it's like, yeah, if you're both, like I get it. If you're top 10 in both, you are most likely a Super Bowl contender. Seattle was top 10 in both. The Rams were top 10 in both.
The Patriots, I think, were both.
The Patriots were top 10 in both. Some fringe, right? You don't have to be right at the top. The Patriots were only 8th in offense. The Rams were only 10th in defense. You don't have to be like top, but you got to be somewhere in that category.
Isn't that something that going back to even last year, you had said, Cody? I know that was something that you had brought up was a stat regarding, I think, top 10s of both.
DVOA sometimes is a real teller.
That's what it was.
DVOA rankings, if you're top 10 in both of those categories in offense and defense, it is almost always a complete teller that you are one of the best teams in the NFL.
That was what it was.
Like, no matter of what the other stats tell you, if you're top 10 in both of those stats, it is a really good. It's not 100%. It is a really good predictor of overall success.
Random question.
For you, Gold. For you, Drew. Text line 913-586-7965. Of course, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and Facebook. I try to live react inside of those as well. Take your answers to the random questions or thoughts you have throughout the show. Like and subscribe at the top of YouTube or Twitch, and we'll pop to the top of your feed so you don't miss any part of the show. Question I have today is whether or not you're going to reverse course on what we probably all did about 20 years ago and make the shift back. A huge topic of conversation inside of one of my classrooms this year has been the use of physical media making a return. So
you brought this up before.
Owning Blu-rays, owning this other stuff, because there's one kid who's like obsessed with it in the class. All this other stuff. I bring it up today because there's a report that PlayStation users are going to face a new online license check. As in, if you have a game and you don't play it or open it in 30 days, the license would then return. So you could pay $60 for a new game. Amazon loses the rights. You don't own that movie anymore. PlayStation maybe reportedly looking to do something similar, but with
why would I ever buy a movie on Amazon Prime?
So I guess people do that.
No, but you're telling me that
you shouldn't?
In 2 years I can't watch it?
Yeah, if Warner Brothers.
Oh, well, then I've never bought one for a reason, I guess.
So there you go.
Yeah.
But PlayStation's looking to do something similar. My question is this stuff enough for you to just start buying things in physical form again for the rest of life? That's the question. Like, are you going to go back to buying movies in a DVD format? Or are you going to go back to only buy video games if it's not a digital copy, but a physical copy? I will say, I only buy my kids Nintendo games in the physical copy because I'm deeply afraid of this. I don't want them to and it ruins the part of childhood that's if their friend comes over and wants to borrow their game, they can borrow it. There is a digital borrow system in the new Nintendo Switch too. But I don't know, it just doesn't feel the same to me, Drew. I feel like I'm getting closer and closer to being you know what? If I want to own a movie, I'm just going to physically buy a copy. I got rid of all my DVDs 20 years ago. I'm pretty sure I just put them in a dumpster, Gold. What'd you guys do with all your old physical media? Did you just throw them away?
My parents have a lot of it, actually.
Your DVDs?
Well, I never owned DVDs like that. From me personally, me owning my own things, I never bought physical things I never bought physical DVDs. I currently, so my PlayStation is the digital console because it was $100 cheaper.
Digital only. So you can't even buy a game. You might be getting screwed by this.
It was $100 cheaper to get the digital only. So I think that
it's all a trap.
So now that makes it really interesting for myself, that concept. So you're saying, because I have a PlayStation, I have a PS5. When I buy the game,
somebody over on Twitch said, "Nope, just going to keep torrenting. That'll solve it."
So you're saying when I buy the game, I have to check the license
every 30 days to keep the license.
I have to check it every 30. So I have to do it every 30 days. Oh,
yeah.
Okay. So I have to, as soon as I buy it, I have to check it within 30 days of me buying it to claim it, and then I don't have to do it again.
To me, that's crazy. Do you know how many games in my life, especially when I played a lot of games? I don't play a lot of video games now, but when I did. Gold, you remember this when you were a kid. You'd play the game, you'd beat it, you'd forget about it for 3 years, and you'd, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pick up that old Red Dead Redemption. I had an awesome time playing it. I want to scoop it back up and do a little playthrough. I should be able to do that without checking the license every day.
That's crazy.
So are you gonna buy physical media? What's your game plan?
I mean, I haven't bought a video game for starters, and since the NCAA football that we all bought a year or two ago.
Was it digital or physical?
It was digital. Yeah, my Xbox doesn't even take physical anymore, so it's a digital.
Same as his.
So yeah, I mean, I'm not going to buy physical because I couldn't play, but I'm not really buying video games anymore, so that's not an issue. And then I told you on the movie end, I never I have of course Prime and HBO and all that, but I don't ever buy movies off of there.
Yeah, no, I don't.
So it's not really a problem, I guess, is what I'm saying for me. I hate the idea of what sounds like they're trying to do, but I haven't been buying digital copies of movies anyway.
What did you used to have some? I used to have like 200.
Oh, DVDs and stuff? Yeah.
200-300. I had a huge
I still
amount.
have some old DVDs, but I don't have anything to really play them anymore.
I've still got I have a PS2, so I've still got a couple.
You can play it through there.
I still have a couple physical.
Still have all the
copies
CDs.
of games. Yeah,
there's probably like 400 CDs in the Tap household, but like they sit in a closet. We have a CD player. We'll occasionally play them inside the house. Have a record player, but like I got rid of all. I'm not kidding you.
Records that's a boom. That's been booming for like a year or so.
One day in the middle of like one of my moves when I was younger, I looked at that Sharper Image. I don't know if anybody remembers this one DVD carousel that I had purchased. Do you know what I'm talking about? The one I had one of those, and it had just like the ones that I was regularly watching on there, and then boxes and boxes. Like I can't take this anymore. And at that time, it was all dying gold. I'm like, what the hell am I going to do with these? I think I just threw them in a dumpster. It's like I don't want any of these DVDs. I just need them to go, or I donated them. It's like, I can't, what the hell am I supposed to do with these hundreds of DVDs I don't want to take up shelf space with?
Some people are saying, though, that maybe what you were saying about the games, though, it's not as bad as that. They said if you don't play for 30 days, the license expires. The next time you launch the game, it checks and will renew the license, or that it only applies to games that aren't attached to your primary console. That's a little bit different.
It just feels like an unnecessary, like, well, why are you doing this? It doesn't feel necessary.
And again, it's just one step closer to what I'm describing, right?
Also, I don't want to... I mean, it's kind of nice to be able to trade your games back, I guess, and get something for them. But you don't get that much back for them anyways. Like for me, I'm not. I just want to be able to play the game. Like I'm not looking to sell the game, or I don't even look to really own the game. It's just I want to be able to play it. Like even if that's a streaming sort of situation here, where I get the new copy and I pay $70 for the new college football game in July. I should be able to stream it as long as I want to. I don't want to. I mean, I don't claim to own the game because I don't have a physical copy of it. I think that's just the concept of video games now, where I mean even DVDs, like I understand that if they don't have the license anymore, then it goes away on that service. Like,
but if I purchased it, I still don't get to keep it. Like if Netflix, like if on Amazon, movies, if I buy it, if they lose the license, I don't get to keep it.
So for movies, I guess for movies I understand it a little bit more, I suppose, but
I don't think. I mean, if I pay for it, I should get to own it.
I agree.
If I should get a digital download of it.
It sounds like a movie thing more than anything else.
There must be something in the terms that you're not really buying the movie to begin with. They're claiming you're buying a license for it. So
they don't make that, like last time you clicked through the terms and conditions.
But I'm just saying, like, so basically, when you bought it, though, you were never buying it. I guess is the argument. You were never actually buying the movie.
So are they? I think because music's kind of the same way now. Like I have thousands of songs on my phone. I don't own any of them.
Yeah, you have it through Spotify or whatever, but you don't own the song.
Yeah.
Tough living. That's it. That's a random question of the day.
All right. Up next, let's get back to the NFL. Nate Taylor from ESPN going to join us. We'll ask him about the Chiefs draft, the play on the rest of the offseason, and what are his expectations for the offense and defense?
You're listening to Cody and Gold. Tune in to hear Royals insider Josh Vernier every Wednesday at 12:30. Cody and Gold is brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. Your home for Royals baseball. 96.5 The Fan.
DQ presents the $7 meal deal, a delicious meal serving up serious value. We're talking 100% white meat, seasoned chicken strips, full-size fries, a drink, and of course, a classic DQ sundae. Because come on, no meal is complete without a sweet treat, all for just $7. And now you can try it with the new honey sriracha dip. The DQ $7 meal deal, a satisfying meal full of big flavor for a great value. DQ, happy tastes good.
As the seasons change, it's time to prep your HVAC system with a $49 seasonal tune-up from Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Rooter. A tune-up can help save money on your energy bill and help prevent expensive breakdowns. As your local home service experts, everything we do is backed by our exceptional service guarantee. Over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 five-star reviews adds up to dependable service from neighbors you trust. Visit callhamilton.com/radio for details, terms, and conditions.
The first leg of the horse racing Triple Crown is on Saturday, so whether you're going to Churchill Downs or you're watching it from the comfort of your couch, you can bet the Kentucky Derby on the same place that you can bet on all of your other favorite sports on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook app. And right now, all customers can get a Derby bet reset. That means you'll get racing bonus backs if your bet doesn't win. The app is super easy to use. You don't have to be a horse racing expert to get in on the Derby Day action. This is one of my favorite events of the sports calendar. There's no better place to celebrate one of America's exciting sporting events than with our friends over at FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook app. So bet the fastest 2 minutes in sports on FanDuel and make it that much more exciting with your Derby bet reset. The Kentucky Derby and Kentucky Oaks are registered trademarks of Churchill Downs Incorporated. 21 and present in Missouri. Verified FD racing account required. Refund issued. Non-withdrawal racing site credit expires 7 days after receipt. Max refund $10 unless otherwise specified. Restrictions apply. See terms at racing.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Think about this. At some point, you stopped calling it pain and started calling it just how I am now. You started mapping out routes to avoid stairs or looking for the closest chair before you even enter the room. And that's not okay. And deep down, you know it. I want to see you get back to being you, the active, carefree version that doesn't think twice about a round of golf or a morning run. I've seen what QC Kinetics can do, and their regenerative treatments are the real deal. They're helping people right here in KC find long-lasting relief from arthritis and old injuries. We're talking about your knees, shoulders, and lower back, recovered without surgery or months in a recliner. The science is real, the treatments are natural, and your body actually knows how to heal. QC Kinetics just gives it the right tools to do it. So don't wait. Get that free consultation today. 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. Off 435 in State Line or in Gladstone. 816-412-6299. It's QC Kinetics.
Doug. There's nowhere I wouldn't go to help someone customize and save on car insurance with Liberty Mutual, even if it means sitting front row at a comedy show.
Hey everyone, check out this guy and his bird. What is this, your first date?
Oh, no. We help people customize and save on car insurance with Liberty Mutual together. We're married. Me to a human, him to a bird.
Yeah, the bird looks out of your league anyways.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Running a business means wearing multiple hats. So if you're like me, you probably started out using your personal phone, taking client calls and texts nonstop. As my business grew, I needed something smarter. That's when I switched to Quo, the #1 business phone system. Quo works right on your phone or computer. No carrying 2 phones, no clunky landline, just one easy app you can try for free. Your team can share one number and handle calls and texts together like a shared inbox. Any teammate can jump into the conversation so customers get faster responses. And Quo's AI assistant summarizes your calls and responds to customers 24/7, so you never miss a lead or opportunity. All this starts at just $15 a month. That's basically 2 coffees. You can even keep your current business phone number. Find out why 90,000 businesses trust Quo. Money is on the line. Always say hello with Quo. Try Quo for free at quo.com/sports. That's quo.com/sports to try Quo free. QUO.com/SPORTS.
You
like saving money, right? We all do. That's why Allstate just lowered the price of car insurance. But wait, there's a catch. Lower. Actually lower. So if you're shopping around or just want to see how much you could save, check Allstate first for a new lower auto rate that could save you hundreds. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Follow the station on Instagram for daily videos like the Royal Decree, Chiefs Take Tuesday, and Would You Rather Wednesday. This is Kansas City's FM sports station, 96.5 The Fan, KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
1 o'clock hour here on Cody and Gold. Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. Nate Taylor going to join us here in about maybe 5 or 10 minutes or so. He will stop by our studio. Chiefs insider from ESPN will get into his expectations, early expectations for the season. Does he think the Chiefs could be in play for a veteran wide receiver or defensive end? More on the draft, all coming up with Nate Taylor here in just a bit. During the break, couple items in the NFL, though, on some of those free agent options that are out there and where they could be visiting. Juwan Jennings reportedly going to visit with the Minnesota Vikings and Kevin O'Connell.
Hell of a receiver crew. Wow. Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, and Juwan Jennings. That is
for Kyler Murray?
Kyler Murray's going to be a fantasy.
He is. I think he's going to have a very nice season. I know Kyler Murray. It's easy to poke fun at him given his history and the Call of Duty stuff and everything. He's an unbelievable spot to earn himself some more money down the road. And I think he's going to have a nice season there in Minnesota. I'm not predicting the Vikings are going to be a top team in the NFC, but I think he can put together with that offense, that coach. I think he'll have a nice year.
It was a very, very, very smart, in my opinion, place for him to go. Kevin O'Connell, a million weapons. They succeeded with Sam Darnold, who's now gone on to win a Super Bowl, but they succeeded there with a quarterback who hadn't made it in his previous spot. It's just, and you're not even in competition. You're not in competition with J.J. McCarthy. They won him out of town so bad. Like, the only reason he's there is because he was a top 10 pick. So, like, I will say that would be a pretty good offensive unit. And not to mention, they're historically, they were a top 10 defense last year, weren't they? Like, Flores usually got that thing humming a little bit there. So, like, if they... That's a team in the NFC that could be. I think they're a team in the NFC that more than any team, maybe in the NFL, says, "Look at what the Seahawks did, and why can't we be that?" More than any team in the NFL, why can't we be that?
Let me ask you this: let's say they signed Juwan Jennings. Let's say the Vikings signed Juwan Jennings. You said, "Oh man, what a receiving room!"
Yeah,
Jefferson, Addison, Jennings.
Just gave Addison a deal. I think.
Doesn't mean that Addison's someone you call on.
I think they just gave an extension to Addison, so probably not him. I feel like didn't they just extend him? Yeah. Oh no, 5th-year option. Okay, that's different.
He has this year and next year left under contract. $4.3 million this year, $18 million the following year.
I don't like a wide receiver with car trouble.
I understand.
So maybe the Chiefs can't call on him. But if I'm a different team,
what do you have? A DWI?
He had multiple speeding infractions and stuff. He had a bunch of issues. He had one that was like, it got pled down. It wasn't a DUI, but he's had more than one.
I'm just saying, if they sign him, or is he available? He was charged with trespassing after an arrest.
Yeah, 911 yards his rookie year. Then got worse with 875 yards the year, and then 610. So he's actually gotten worse every single year.
The 3 legal incidents for Addison, by the way. DUI charge in 2024. A speeding ticket that was pled guilty to, and then a speeding charge, I guess, and then a misdemeanor trespassing in Florida.
I mean,
in January.
I would like it to mean that Justin Jefferson's available, but I assume he's never available.
No, stop.
I said I assume he's never available. So,
but I just wonder if the Vikings, maybe they roll in with all 3, but it'd be something I'd keep an eye on. I'd at least call if they actually sign. It doesn't mean the Vikings are signing Juwan Jennings, by the way. He's just visiting there. And there's who was the other?
Oh, and
player?
then Diego Pavia signed a 3-year contract with the Baltimore Ravens. Said he was going to work out, and they were going to maybe offer him a deal. He got a camp invite, but he's got a contract. Diego Pavia heading to the Baltimore Ravens, the Heisman Trophy finalist. Someone was trying to figure out a way to get him eligibility to make him the Texas Tech quarterback next year because their quarterback's likely to be suspended for the season from the forever from the NCAA. And so they were trying to figure out some way to do it. But yeah, he's a Baltimore Raven. What do you think about Diego Pavia's fit there with a new coaching staff and all that stuff?
He's going to be out of the league in 2 years.
2 years?
Yeah.
Man, that didn't take you long. I mean, he's just a free agent signing.
He's a really good college player, but that's it. Really good college player. Come on.
Someone says, a lot of people don't like Murray. Said Murray is, ugh.
I think he got, of course, he did it to himself because of the Call of Duty stuff. But
Yeah.
Kyler Murray in Minnesota with Kevin O'Connell, and if you tell me they add Juwan Jennings to the room, I think Kyler Murray's in for a really nice season. Yeah.
I agree. It scares me when we agree. It feels like one of us should be on the wrong side of history here.
Yeah.
But I also think that Kyler Murray's, as far as his overall level of play, they make it sound like
he stunk, and
he's J.J. McCarthy. And I mean, we can chill a little.
Well,
he's not. He was never like a total bust in his entire NFL career. He's had some nice or at least mediocre NFL seasons. 3,800 yards, 21 touchdowns, 11 picks just a year ago. His second year in the league, 26 touchdowns, 12 picks, and 3,900 yards. He was a good NFL quarterback. Maybe not great, but he was like 14 to 15 there for a stretch Gold. And with Justin Jefferson, do I think he could be better? Yeah. He's also the best quarterback. I think he's better than Sam Darnold. Is that wrong to say?
I mean, it's in terms of just athleticism, then sure.
Generic quarterback play in
who would I rather?
neutral setting.
I mean, I guess with the exact same team, who would I rather have start week 1 of the season? I think you would have to say Sam Darnold at this point. I saw Darnold with Kevin O'Connell. I know it worked there. I haven't seen it yet with Kyler Murray. With Kevin O'Connell, we just kind of assume it could work. Anyway, let's get back to the Chiefs. Nate Taylor, our Chiefs insider from ESPN, sits down with us now. Appreciate it, man. Good to see you again. Did you have to go to the bunker at Arrowhead or the Chiefs facility on draft night?
Yes, sir. It's the one time I feel like I live there legitimately. But no, I saw some of your guys' videos from lovely Pittsburgh. So shout out to everybody there. Did you guys have fun?
We did. We had a good time. It was busy, as you know. The draft is a little busy.
The way Cody looked at me, I was like, uh-oh.
No.
It was just
perfectly good time. Just tired.
Yeah, it was just some busy days or whatever. It's not as much free time as people think for that trip.
Right.
But
did you get to see my friend? Cody knows what I'm talking
about. Too busy. She got busy.
Oh, busy.
I did meet. She had to go do the Amex studio with Carrie Bradshaw. Tough living.
She was busy.
We tried. Tough living.
Good.
Cody has a cousin in Pittsburgh, apparently.
I hung out with my 23-year-old cousin and her friend.
Oh, nice.
At a bar where we were too young.
At a bar full of 23-year-olds.
Hey.
And it was Nate.
What are they? What's it like, my friend?
Loud.
It's
loud. Let's start there.
We getting.
It was a fun time. It was fun. We just felt
loud and crowded.
We are washed.
It was fun. It was just
tired.
Definitely
Everyone looked so young.
Definitely felt old.
So so that's hilarious. The crowds look great. I know whatever it is. Even obviously, if you don't know, we're talking about my good friend Brooke Pryor, who covers the Steelers for ESPN. Who should have hung out with my guys, Alex and Cody.
We tried. We genuinely tried.
I know she tried to.
Timing's tough.
Yeah. And look, she got to do a number of events, which is nice. She wrote about the experience from, Pittsburgh's perspective, which was really cool. But yeah, like the crowd was at like 800,000.
Mm-hmm. That's what they said over 3 days.
Yeah. Just astonishing. Given that, like, I don't know, was it a memorable draft?
I don't think it will go down as one.
I think partially because of the talent.
It's
right,
whenever
that's what I'm saying.
Whenever
that's
you don't have,
you
don't have the quarterback talent in the draft overall. That's always going to change because we always go back and look at drafts when there were 3 or 4 first-round quarterbacks, and we judge them that way. Here we have 2, and one's not playing at all this year.
Correct.
You know?
Yeah.
What is I guess from the Chiefs' perspective, they bring in Mansour Delane, and when usually you pick a guy in the top 6, they're just immediate top 10, 12 corner in the NFL level of caliber, and the Chiefs expect him to be that, which I think is fair.
Yes.
So what is their short free agent shopping list now, or are they not shopping? And for the first time in history, are they going to actually play a ton of young players. Because that's what we were talking about Bassa earlier.
Yes.
Leo played 51% of the snaps this year. Bassa played 4. I've never seen him jump somebody that much.
Right.
But I also think they're going to play Bassa.
I think they're going to have to. And I think the youth movement on that side of the ball is really fun and intriguing because they haven't made any mistakes yet. And so that'll be the yin and yang of it all is like, you have to play the young guys. I mean, these guys are part of what 2026 and 2027 is really about for this franchise that's not named Patrick Mahomes. But at the same time, you're dealing with one of the longest tenured defensive coaches in terms of Steve Spagnuolo, who should be, a coordinator that obviously should be in the Hall of Fame. He don't like mistakes in September and October, just as Jaden Hicks, right? So, and by the way, they drafted a quote unquote safety who I think will transition down to nickel. But obviously they signed Aloy Gilman. Chamari Connor's not going anywhere. What's going to happen with like Jaden Hicks? So you're going to have to play guys in September and October and live with the ups and downs of it all. But, hopefully they get better because you're going to give them the opportunity to get better by November and December when hopefully the Chiefs are, competing for a playoff spot or, the AFC West division.
Yeah, it's just like I feel like they're going to do something like we mentioned. They could, hypothetically, if they wanted veterans, sign a linebacker, a safety, a wide receiver, a tackle. Like they could sign any of those. But I think they'll sign a couple.
Okay. Yeah.
I don't think that they'll add no one. I just don't think they're going to do all those positions. I was trying to figure out what you think they'll prioritize.
Right.
In there. Him and I, we both think that like August 17th, Tyreek will get a 1-year deal, get put on the 6-week pup list. Once they get a view of the wide receivers in camp, it'll be like an August 17th deal.
I don't mind
on like a Tuesday. And they'll just bring him in as like we'll make this work for 6 weeks and he'll roll in and fit if we need him to, if it's all humming. But if not, there's another guy and we'll make it work then.
Yeah, I have no issues with that if that's what they want to do. Because it's been clear to me that like Tyreek Hill is at least open to the idea of, joining the team and sort of reestablishing himself in the NFL with a coaching staff and a training staff that already knows him pretty well. You don't have to, even if you put him on the pup list, you don't have to like rip it off right at week 7. Like you could take your time with it all the way up to like week 8, 9, whatever is necessary for him to get in playing shape, to get the knee as strong as possible. And then for obviously him to get some sort of practice timing. We all know how Andy Reid is when it comes to old school. Hey, you need to practice before I put you out there on the field. The problem is, at least as of right now, because I just looked it up, they are technically $5 million over the cap. So they're going to have to do some cap maneuvering and managing between now and say that, late July or early August, mid-August sort of signings that you want to do.
I think extend Jalen Moore?
Now that you didn't draft a tackle. By the way,
that to me is the most logical way to save money. Is there something else I need to?
Hey, now
that one feels like a.
You.
I don't think people have said it, but it makes the most sense.
Yeah. Let's cut up the deal we got now. Let's give you another 2-year deal, but these 2-year deals, just like the last one, certifies and solidifies your spot on the roster. By the way, now we have true continuity along the offensive line. It will be you at right tackle, for 2026 and 2027, and we assume that the case for the other 4 positions that we already have that we all know are above average in terms of potential and talent when it comes to even left guard with Kingsley Suamataia based on his athleticism and the way he improved from year 1 to year 2. So, hey, I don't mind it. Clear some cap space if you want to do that. They could just cut Creed Humphrey a check right now if they wanted to.
That's true, yeah.
So they could do some.
Is there a scenario? I know they didn't draft a tight end. I know they didn't technically sign one. Maybe an undrafted guy. Is there a scenario where Noah Gray? Isn't that $5 million, $6 million they could free up, or is that not right?
They could technically do that.
I don't think they're going to either. Not at this point.
I don't think Andy's given no indication that Noah Gray is not a part of the plan. He has mentioned Noah Gray to me on several occasions. Both after free agency, during the owners' meetings, and I even think he may have mentioned it in some passing, shortly before or after the draft.
I think if they were going to do that, they would have done that earlier. I was just thinking of cap situation.
One.
Yeah,
right.
If they would have drafted a tight end, then it's a different conversation. as well. We were discussing the running back room a little bit earlier as we got Nate Taylor hanging out with us. So they wait till the 5th round. They get Emmett Thomas. When you think of, not Emmett Thomas, who am I thinking of?
Johnson.
Thank you. I'm thinking
everybody's going to get that mistake for a long time.
At least he's been around the team long enough.
I was like, as I said it, I'm like, that's not right. I'm like, that's
Johnson.
That's
it's
not
okay.
right.
The good thing is I have to double check it when I type it because it's so easy to just be like Emmett Thomas, and then you're like, that's not right.
Yeah, I've Emmett Johnson. So pass catching back, is that what the expectation should be, at least for his rookie year, that he's a 3rd down guy? And that's going to be the opportunity that they're going to give him and not much more than that? How do you see the running back room now, knowing what the free agency and draft look like?
That's definitely a possibility. And at least, unlike Brashard Smith, there's a legitimate chance, I would assume, that the defense can't be like, oh, he's on the field. They're passing.
Sure.
Yeah. They wouldn't hand him the ball.
They would not hand Brashard Smith the ball. I don't know why, even though we clearly could see that he has talent, right? So if you've made a bigger investment in this rookie, in Johnson, then you should hand the ball off to him occasionally. Let him learn what it's like to be a 3rd down back. Let him get real groom and development under DeMarco Murray and obviously Eric Bieniemy, 2 former NFL running backs. Yeah, I mean, if you thought the screen game was pretty good with Brashard Smith and he was their best option in the screen game last year, then maybe you could get even more juice out of Johnson. Because in terms of just like draft picks that they took that were not named Mansour Delane, Johnson was the most unassailable pick they made in terms of production, in terms of growth,
where they took him,
and the fact that there's no history of real injuries. Like, he's just a really good football player who just so happens to not play a premium position. And so that's a bonus to you. So you should continue to, again, play the young guys as much as you can, understandably knowing that you have DeMarcado as your number 2 guy and you have Kenneth Walker as your lead back.
So you think if season started today, DeMarcado is the most likely number 2?
Yes.
But could Johnson be running back 2 at some point this season?
Maybe, but I would tend to just like, hey, let him go through the traditional arc of a rookie.
Sure.
In a stable situation.
The way Brashard Smith played. But that's the problem. It makes Brashard Smith irrelevant?
Kinda, yeah.
Like, I don't see...
He's a legit camp cut guy, right?
Well, I don't know if he's a legit camp cut guy.
But he's inactive on game day 4th running back guy.
Well, he's going to have to figure out, and again, this is where Johnson and him will compete, I think most likely, is at returner.
Okay.
Who's going to be kickoff returner? Who's going to be punt returner?
Okay.
I think that pole position right now is Nico Remigio because he has the most experience. They re-signed him back for that specific role. Obviously, a Dave Tobe lovey and signee. So, okay, who's going to be that second guy? If it's not Brashard Smith, then I can see your point, Cody, about, hey, maybe he's on the roster, but he's not active on game day. But if he shows development and shows that he has, the best option or the second best option with Remigio to be your kickoff returner, hey, maybe we would like you to be the punt returner, because I don't really know who the punt returner is outside of Nico. Then
Tyquan do it some last year? I don't remember.
He can
dabbled,
but he's like the number three receiver, so you don't really want to do that unless you're in a certain situation, right? I mean, their best punt returner is probably Xavier Worthy. He's never gonna do it though, because he's your number 2 receiver. I think there's a path for Smith. My question for OTAs, and maybe we'll find it out because again, it's voluntary. I think Brashard Smith should show up, but hey, that's his prerogative. Do they want to put him in this sort of tweener role of like hybrid running back, hybrid receiver? Because most of his college career was at receiver, and
there's less depth there.
And they really didn't run the ball with him at all last season, even though I know it's a different position coach and it's a different offensive coordinator.
When you look at, you mentioned that you talked to Andy, we know you've talked to Brett Veach. How would you describe, whether real or fake, their confidence in Xavier Worthy taking a leap? As in, like, taking a step forward in year 3 that he didn't do in 1 or 2.
Yeah, I think they really believe he has the ability to jump, perhaps even more so than Rashee Rice, because with Rashee, there's more factors involved.
Yeah,
based on his speed, and now that you have a new position coach in Chad O'Shea, who's developed a litany of receivers over a 20-year career, basically in the NFL, man, this is the best possible opportunity for Xavier Worthy to become a greater deep threat, a better route runner in the intermediate area of the field, using his speed or the threat of his speed as an advantage to create separation. And they do need to find more ways to get him the ball maybe behind the line of scrimmage so that he can make some yards after the catch or some open field plays. It's all there for him. We know he got hurt in the first game of the season, colliding with Travis Kelce.
And I'm sure it impacted the rest of his year. But
it did. And he had the ankle injury. And, I think he had a minor procedure on the ankle. So hopefully he comes back this upcoming season, not only ready to go, not only fully immersed in the system, but now ready to really demonstrate who he is as a football player.
Is it, I don't know if you know, is it true he's put on some weight this offseason? Is that?
I haven't seen him.
Okay.
So
I know there were some rumblings that maybe he put on 10 pounds. I don't know if that's we'll find out, I guess, because that's the one thing about the injury. And that was his way. Same thing at Texas.
Texas, yeah. I mean, if he does put on 10 pounds, let's think this out. If he does put 10 pounds on, that's great. You can do that for the offseason, see how your body adjusts and adapts to like running at that speed, conditioning, all those things. Ain't nobody hitting you, obviously.
Sure.
And then do you want to say, okay, I'm going to come to training camp 10 pounds heavier than I was last year, and then Andy's going to run me to death, and I'm going to lose 5 of those pounds. And now we found a medium of like, well, technically he was 195, but now he's 200 pounds. And he'll be a better player for it because he will have, really worked on his body to figure out what's the best way for him to play his best at this level. So, again, he was supposed to be like their most reliable part of the offense when it came to dynamic ability. And then that all got taken away in Sao Paulo. And he had flashes. I know he had really good moments last season, and he is tough as he's as tough as anybody pound for pound on that roster. But now it's a chance for him to really demonstrate what the Chiefs thought of him and why they took him so early in the draft, considering that he's younger than some of the rookies on the roster this
crazy.
year. Yes.
That is wild.
He's not even old, which is, it's crazy to know that Xavier Worthy, as of right now, ladies and gentlemen, as I Google it, is 23 years old.
Thinking of younger draft picks of the last couple of years.
Yesterday was his birthday. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, Cody didn't have a song for him because he's a hater and he doesn't believe in him. So there was no song. Other players get songs. Like for Felix Andy-Dike Uzama, Cody did.
Banned for 3 months.
Cody is banned from songs. No, in all seriousness, though, Felix, he was drafted very young, developmental guy. We all know the history right now. They have not really gotten anything from him. Now seeing the draft and all that, is he just a guy that's trying to compete for a final roster spot? Is that where we're at with him? Because I don't think there's anything more than that for him at this point in Kansas City.
Make the roster, show you're a professional.
Be a rotational.
And be in the rotation and make winning plays. You won't have that many opportunities. This is not what I or us or the organization thought when they drafted you. They thought, hey, he's gonna be a really nice player to develop in year 1, year 2, and then he should really make a nice jump at year 3, potentially being a starter. And that's why they re-signed Omenihu with the idea that like, hey, take your time, we're gonna develop. And then obviously the hamstring injury happened last year. He doesn't play a single down. He's been so far away from football that just come in, be a professional. It's a contract year, and make Joe Cullen and Steve Spagnuolo play you to where you say, hey, I'm available. I'm ready. Anyone gets tired or winded, I know the system. I can make a play or two. I'm a, set the edge, as we all know.
He was okay as like a run defender.
Yes.
I thought he made some nice plays.
He tracked as, and this is why the draft is so fascinating and yet such a crapshoot in some ways, is like, okay, that guy is young and he was starting to really take off later in college. So we can see a projection of like, oh, well, there's more in him that we can get from a football player. And then year 1, it's like, well, the contract situation with Chris Jones kind of messed things up. All right, Spags, he didn't really play young guys. But hey, he did make a play in the Super Bowl. Like he was on the field for like the biggest game of the season, and he wasn't a like net negative, right? Then year 2 happens, and somewhere along the way, I don't know what happened, but again, he just didn't make a leap like you would hope. And then obviously you get to this point and the team is not only rewarding George Karlaftis, but they're also saying, okay, we got to draft Ashton Gelati. Now we got to draft R. Mason Thomas. Like, you are not necessarily easy to see in the future of these things, but you have one more opportunity to make it work in year 4. You know they're not going to pick up the 5th-year option. So, hey, if you were a player in college, this is your senior season to show NFL scouts why they should consider you for the NFL draft. You're basically doing that in the NFL right now.
Nate Taylor from ESPN, he'll keep hanging out with us. We want to get into some of the early expectations for the rest of this offseason heading into training camp and what you make of the rest of the AFC West and what some of those teams did on draft night as well. That's coming up right here on Cody and Gold.
This is Cody and Gold on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Getting a little older doesn't have to mean, well, getting older. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if you're feeling low energy, can't sleep, can't lose weight, are struggling with brain fog, or your sex drive is off, it's time to change it up. At Heartland Men's Health, our advanced medical strategies featuring TRT, GH peptides, NAD+, GLP-1s, PDA, and more treat low T and other hormonal issues to help you shed pounds, have more energy, enhance your body composition, improve sleep, increase your sex drive, and so much more. Getting you back in the game again. So don't be older. Be stronger in the gym. Be sharper at work. Be better in the bedroom and be more confident in every part of your life. So call us today and find out how our advanced treatment strategies could change the game for you. Your first visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on one of our advanced treatment plans on the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
Feature therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
Hey, it's almost Andy Reid. Is your garage door dropping the ball? Get a free repair or replacement quote from Renner Garage Door. Renner is America's oldest family-owned garage door company that serves both wholesale and retail markets. Right now, get $100 off a new garage door when you mention this ad. With trusted brands like Delden, Amar, and LiftMaster, you know it's built to win. Renner's also hiring experienced techs and installers. RennerDoor.com.
RENNER. Hello, Kansas City. Bank of America, in partnership with Visa, invites you to a FIFA World Cup 26 watch party. Open an eligible Bank of America checking account in participating financial centers only for an opportunity to reserve 2 complimentary tickets while supplies last. Experience special musical guests, games, giveaways, food, and more, all at a legendary venue. Learn more at BofA.com/BofA Visa Watch Party. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America, proud to be the official bank of FIFA World Cup 26. Bank of America N.A. member FDIC. Terms apply. All rights reserved.
Now's the time to complete that painting project you've been putting off. CertaPro Painters provides a free estimate quickly and at the right price. Whether it's interior or exterior, you'll never have to wonder what's next. They provide reliable updates because they know how important your home is to you. Ask about their spring sales event for 10% off qualifying projects through May 15th. Remember, each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated right here in Kansas City. Schedule your free estimate online at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C.
Doug. There's nowhere I wouldn't go to help someone customize and save on car insurance with Liberty Mutual, even if it means sitting front row at a comedy show.
Hey everyone, check out this guy and his bird. What is this, your first date?
Oh, no. We help people customize and save on car insurance with Liberty Mutual together. We're married. Me to a human, him to a bird.
Yeah, the bird looks out of your league anyways.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
If you own a business, you've heard it all. From fast funding to easy approvals, everyone says the same thing. LendSeek is different. We show you what you actually qualify for. LendSeek's AI-enabled platform matches you with funding options with no guesswork. Up to $5 million in as fast as 24 hours. If you've been in business over a year, doing at least $50,000 per month, apply for free with zero out-of-pocket costs and access to over 100 lenders. Start ready, stay ready. LendSeek.com. LendSeek.com.
Lowe's has the brands pros trust to get the job done. You can now shop new Catalyst fencing solutions and save big when you do. 10% off when you buy in bulk. Plus, save $180 on a DeWalt 12-inch dual bevel sliding compound miter saw. Now just $449. Our best lineup is here at Lowe's. Valid through 5/6 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Some days, self-care starts with Nature-Made gummy vitamins, a deep breath, and a little encouragement.
Mom, I'm really nervous.
Me too, honey, but we've got this. Repeat after me. I'm gonna have a good day.
I'm going to have a good day.
I choose joy no matter what comes my way.
I bring joy wherever I go.
Quality gummy vitamins from Nature Made, the #1 pharmacist-recommended vitamin and supplement brand. Based on a survey of pharmacists who recommend branded vitamins and supplements.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Hey, it's Rob Brennan. We hope you're enjoying Beyond the Pitch KC, a podcast on how Kansas City landed the world's biggest sporting event. It's presented by Commerce Bank. Visit commercebank.com/soccer26. New episodes released every Wednesday on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Back here on Cody and Gold, Alex Gold, Cody Tapp, Drew Nixon with you. Nate Taylor, our Chiefs insider from ESPN, joining us in studio. I do want to pivot to the rest of the AFC West in a second, but we were having a discussion throughout the show today. I know it's early. We don't know the final roster by any means yet, but right now, from a points per game, offense and defense, ranking-wise, what would you say should be the expectation? Because I know. Because we got into it. We were getting into it because I think – normally, you would just say, well, the offense should have higher expectations than the defense. You have Patrick Mahomes, but Mahomes is coming off an ACL and LCL. We don't even know if he's playing week 1 for sure. Yes, they add Kenneth Walker, got a new wide receiver coach, new OC and everything. I was saying that I think offensively, it should top 10 as in like the 10th best.
Right, yes.
Defensively, I went higher, but I can't go any higher than like 8th because I still worry about them getting pressure on the quarterback because I don't hate the R. Mason Thomas pick at all. I actually like the pick, but it's him rotating with still an unproven Gelati, rotating with another unproven guy. Like, that's a big question mark.
Still better than last year's.
As the
whole
line
unit?
as a whole.
Yeah, because of Tonga and the interior?
Yeah.
Absolutely. So where are you at, I guess, if I were to ask you? I'm not going to hold you to it. It's April 28th. They go, as I told Cody, they go sign Cam Jordan. Well, then, okay.
Hey, now we got something.
Where's your, right now, early expectation offense, defense, and where they should be?
Okay.
Last year, they were 6th on defense points per game, by the way. 11th before Mahomes got hurt.
Okay. Thank you. That's a really good framework to keep in mind because I'm doing this with the most optimism that Mahomes will be there for 17 games. Right. He'll get healthier. The knee will get stronger. He'll have better mobility later in the season than obviously week 1. We're also making this projection with there'll be some injuries, but nothing like catastrophic, obviously.
Yeah, not Mahomes.
Like if Chris Jones happens,
or Kenneth Walker.
Yikes! Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like Lord, please, don't have anything
we know the
go
numbers
on.
Change.
Yeah, we don't want anything to go wrong with Travis Kelce if this is indeed the swan song. Mm-hmm. With everyone healthy, by and large, with Mahomes, 1 to 17 weeks, I want to say the offense is like 9th, like a little bump from last year, right? 9th, maybe 8th. And then defensively, I just need you to be 12-13.
Okay, so you think they take a sizable dip?
Keep us in the game, baby. Keep us in the game. Now, some of that might be your opponents, and you have a technically favorable schedule because you're a 3rd-place team, but
schedule's not that favorable.
Thank you. It's not that. It's kind of tricky in a sense. Here's my problem. If you could say, Nate, they're going to get more turnovers than they got last year. Oh, if that's the case, they can still be a 10th ranked defense. They cannot get turnovers, which is why I think as a front office, you might say, well, hey, man, coach, we got all this experience, all this cerebral nature. Everybody knows the system, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. We can't take the ball away with these dudes. So, points per game, cool. But, we need changes in momentum. We need to take the ball from the other team and if we get youth and athleticism and like maybe like not as much experience, but we're just out there playing hard, maybe we get more turnovers.
I think they were 2nd, 4th, and 6th the last 3 years in defense. They are better on the defensive line than not 2 years ago when they finished top 5 in sacks or whatever.
Right.
But they're certainly better than last year's defensive line. I cannot emphasize enough how bad Tillery and Dana and some of those guys were.
They brought back Mike Pennell as a last resort.
Yeah, desperate.
Yep.
And so, like, bad, real bad. They are worse in the secondary right now, but if Mansour Delane is a top 10 cornerback, they're just as good.
Correct.
And the linebacker crew, they're worse. I just have a hard time, or at least because
maybe. I don't know about
maybe,
that, actually.
maybe.
We'll see.
I think it's the biggest unknown. How about that?
Right.
It's
We'll
a
see.
question.
It's the biggest swing answer. So, like I think they should be a top 5 defense again. And some of that is kind of the way I talk about Mahomes. It's not just like where I think the defenders are. It's that they have Steve Spagnuolo.
Correct.
And no matter what, when he's been the defensive coordinator of the Chiefs, he figures it out. And they get themselves in that range. And they find a way to, because last year's team was slow, not particularly talented.
Right.
And he drug them to the 6th best defense. And the offense was doing him no help.
No help.
Doing
Right.
zero labor.
And by the way, the special teams was doing no help because I'm sorry, is that another hold? What are you doing?
Or missed field goal and I got to guard him from the 50?
Right, correct.
You know, like, I mean, he wasn't being helped.
Yeah, special teams was not helping either side of the ball.
I guess real quick while we're there, do you think there's a chance, maybe it's a simple no, that they would bring in another kicker during camp?
They can't afford it till next year.
Stop it. Yeah. They are technically our 5. You would only be doing that as like a okay, let's be honest here.
Just to kick during camp. I'm not saying that they're going to cut him.
I know. Right now, Jawan Taylor has already cost you about $7 million. Mike Dana cost you about $2 million. As I said earlier, if you weren't listening in the previous segment, the Chiefs, as of right now, according to Over the Cap, are about $5 million over the cap. So they got to do some things to get under the cap. If they want to sign Cam Jordan, obviously it's going to cost something. The only reason why you would bring a kicker in is to embarrass this man.
Say, hey, you might want to tighten up.
To just put.
But why not? Put a little pep in his step because next year he's going to get cut. Next year they can cut him if he kicks like this again.
Correct.
They're not going to have a choice. So, you know, like.
Now, look, I understand Andy Reid, old school, Dave Toll, right in step with him. Look, guys, if he's going to be our kicker, he's going to be our kicker. If he's going to be our kicker, guess what? He's getting all the reps.
We're not putting any
Why
thoughts
would we
in his
split
head,
reps? Why would we
That's
split
fair.
snaps? Like, get this man ready for the season. We about doing the work, not less work. And we're also not in favor of, like, doing something just to do something to just maybe light a fire under him. I'm Andy Reid. I can go up to him and say, hey, bro, you stunk last season. Get it in line, all right? Tighten it up, okay, young man? Honestly, in this organization, the only reason why you bring another kicker in, and that kicker, by the way, knows, hey, I'm basically kicking for another team. You know, this is like an audition for like somewhere else.
And that does happen.
Yes, it does happen. The only reason why you do that is because, hey, guys, everybody look at Harrison. This is only to embarrass him in hopes that, like, he bounces back. But, like, I just have a belief that Harrison Butker is a talented kicker. And so, hey, he had a down year out of respect. Let's see what he does this season.
But he's been below average, technically, in field goals made in like 4 of the last 6 years.
That does not matter to me.
Now, for them, they don't care because
he's made every big kick in the playoffs.
Thank you.
And I do think that. But also, like, I don't think we just want to
gene
dismiss.
is still clutch, baby.
For a team that's in more regular season games, I do think you'd want a kicker making more of their kicks than not. At least during this time. But look, again, I don't think there's anything to it till next year. But he's also 30.
Right.
He's been with the Chiefs since 2017.
Yeah.
He's about to be a 10-year player for this team. This would be a natural time to be like, hey, getting old.
Hey, if
I think his knee might be done.
If I'm Andy Reid, let me do this. Maybe if I'm Clark Hunt and I'm just bored on a certain day in the offseason, knowing that, again, Harrison Butker is our kicker. Hey, Dave, let me talk to you for a second, right? You got a crew, right? It's Porter Elliott, who's the assistant special teams coach. Like, I'm just saying, make a list. Look around. Because I want names.
Yeah.
Next March, next April. And hey, if something were to happen this season, we don't want that to happen, but if something were to happen, make a list. Give me some names.
What about the AFC West, Nate, and what we saw from the draft there? We know the Broncos didn't have a first-round pick. Essentially, that was Jalen Waddle for them. We know the Raiders had multiple picks there, including they hope to be their franchise quarterback of the future, Mendoza, although I still think Kirk Cousins is going to start week 1 for them. I don't think there's any other
all those
reason.
hits, young man.
Well, I think let Cousins do that until you get that offensive line working.
The only way you're going to learn is by doing, sir. Take those hits.
Who do you think in the AFC West had the best draft? Because we narrowed it down to Kansas City and Oakland, or Las Vegas.
Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Vegas.
I hated the Chargers draft.
Well, the Chargers are in a tricky spot.
Took 3 guards.
They don't have money either.
And an old defensive end.
They don't have money. As it appears to be the case. I asked some friends in the league. I was like, "Hey, why didn't the Chargers sign anybody?" Nate, they have no money.
Because they had plenty.
They have cap space, right?
You're talking about cash on hand, though.
Liquidity.
You're talking about
liquidity.
Spanos.
You're talking about like I could go buy a new car, but maybe can't afford a new car.
Hey. That's why I hired you, Jim. Make it work.
Chargers need to do like Klarna or whatever, or one of those.
Go make it. Hey.
Klarna payment, Jawan Jennings.
Hey, you got us into the playoffs now. Need you to do that again. Hey,
they got the third most cap space.
They don't have cash though.
We should let this be like Monopoly. Clark should be allowed to pay you $20 million in cash to get 20 himself. I get $20 million in cap space.
This was the whole Khalil Mack stuff with the Raiders many years ago.
Yes. Now that was at a greater degree. Let's be honest. Where the Raiders are like, wait, he's hold how much next season? Look at the bank account. Ooh, that math ain't mathing. Let's get him out of here.
We can't put $50 million in escrow.
Get him out of here.
I'll give Clark that. Ever since the team got good, the escrow payments
have gone up. Yeah,
they've stayed.
Yeah, and and he's also, I asked him Friday about like, hey, that Travis Kelce contract, boy, that's as close as you guys have ever gotten to void years.
Just paying someone to not work here.
Is that a one-time? It's a one-time thing, Nate. We will not be doing that. Okay, cool. What's your philosophy on void years? His answer was, Nate, traditional contracts. Oh, okay, cool.
They don't like paying people to not work.
So your money's good. Okay, cool.
I get it.
But you also can make the exception for a guy like Travis Kelce, who's a lifer.
Yes, of course.
He's an all-time guy. You're like, you know what? If I got to pay him a few $1 million every year,
fine.
So what?
Yeah, fine.
Okay.
He makes us more money by just being on the roster, let alone his production on the field, which, if people need to be reminded, he led the team in receptions, targets, yards.
He's also the fourth
first
most
downs.
Yeah, that just can't happen.
And
this
he was
year.
the 4th most productive tight end in the NFL.
Correct.
I don't like every national show I go on. I'm sure you get this too, Nate. They all talk like Travis Kelce, like he was out here bumbling around like just some fool who can't play tight end. I'm like, you guys won't watch it. I'm sorry, but like he was like the 4th best tight end in the NFL last year.
Yeah, nationally, too many people think he was washed, which is so crazy. Now, he cannot lead in all the categories you said again this year. That's a problem if that happens again.
Right.
But to act like he has nothing left, which is what you're right, Cody. That's what you do interviews in other cities. Everybody acts like he was terrible, and that's just not reality.
So let's give the Raiders credit, right? You need a quarterback. You took a quarterback. I understand Alex's point. He should not start week 1. Guess what he's going to be doing week 1?
You think he's going to start?
He's going to be out
there. You
think
so?
He's going to be out there taking all them hits, baby.
Really?
These are what I mean. Look, it's a first-time head coach.
Kirk Cousins signed there not to play at all?
With the first time, he's an insurance policy. With the first time, rookie starting quarterback. We've seen this too many times. Unless Tom Brady's going to come in and say, which again, conflict of interest.
He has way too much.
Be that as it may, if Tom Brady's going to come in and say, hey, he cannot start, who other voice can I trust in Vegas?
But in fairness, Tom Brady's been preaching that for years.
I mean, Drake May
on his podcast
sat behind Jacoby Brissett for 5 games or whatever it was. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying Kirk Cousins is playing all year. I'm saying the first month, I could see, especially depending on the schedule and everything, I could see Kirk Cousins get the start.
Who's the guy who does with the Go Long podcast or whatever it is? He's been an open advocate that quarterbacks have been ruined.
Yes,
by the lack of development.
Too early. Yes.
And I'll tell you right now, he definitely has a voice in that room. Way too loud of a voice would be the argument I would make, and that it's going to eventually be their downfall that they let Tom Brady make real football decisions. But at least he has expertise in this specific room. I'd listen to him if he said, make Kirk Cousins start at least half the season. Stick his ass out there. Let Fernando Mendoza stop swimming in a sea of information and speed and things, and let that man learn. I'd probably listen to Tom on that one because
I would too. But there's been too many teams where I've said the same thing every offseason. Like, hey, really good, talented player. They should probably let him sit,
like
right?
Bryce Young.
Like Anthony Richardson. They should probably let him sit, right? Like Bryce Young. They should probably let him. They had Andy Dalton, right? We should probably let him sit. Huh? What? He's the number 1 pick. Did you see his legs? I don't know.
Problem is the guys like Burrow or whatever, like guys who just come in the league, Herbert,
but
who just come in the league and work. They just look at that.
There's only like a handful of those, like C.J. Stroud.
And he's gotten worse since then. So.
Yeah, but he was great his rookie year. Joe Burrow. Lamar Jackson didn't play his rookie season because they had Joe Flacco.
Yep.
Everybody forgets that. Even though
Herbert was great his rookie year.
He was great.
He wasn't even scheduled to start. It's a Tyrod Taylor.
His lung.
They were trying to sit him too. And then, the team doctor punctured his lung. He didn't start game 1, but he started by game 2 or 3 or whatever it was. Whenever that doctor.
So again, I don't trust NFL teams when it comes to this. There's too much evidence to suggest that unless you're Andy Reid, if you're of a certain stature, okay, I'll give you the benefit of the doubt. He knows what he's talking about. But like for a first time coach with a rookie quarterback, I don't trust them.
Do you think sometimes it's just like it's the commercial part of it, it's the business part?
Yes.
And they realize they just took a guy 1-1, and they're like, we got to put that person on a TV.
And the rookie
wage. So they'll do it week 4 on Sunday Night Football against the Chiefs.
And the rookie wage scale CBA part of all this forces your hand in a sense because every game you pass by, you're like, well, that's the cheapest he's ever gonna be. You might as well see what you got, And it's like, that's cool, but like you're putting yourself against the clock, even though the mechanism's already there. And like you're gonna if it's any quarterback worth anything, he'll get the 5th-year option, and so you can scale that out a certain direction. But most teams get into that headspace of like, we gotta see. If he's on a rookie contract.
This kind of goes back to like probably the Giants game last year. If you're the Chiefs, would you rather see Kirk Cousins? Say week 4, you got the Raiders in the schedule. Would you rather see Kirk Cousins or Mendoza? Remember when it was Jackson Dart and Russell Wilson? I knew it was Russell Wilson.
We knew it was Russell Wilson, yeah.
Wasn't even a mystery.
Are the Chiefs getting after the quarterback a little bit? Then it's Kirk Cousins because he can't move.
Correct. Yeah. So, which was the same issue with Russell Wilson in week 3 last season, where it's like, hey, they're 0-2. Thank God for Russell Wilson. We know him. We played against him multiple times. Yeah.
Russ. Then the following week threw for 300 yards and he still got benched.
Yeah.
Still went to Jackson Dart. I think I'd rather see Kirk Cousins because Mendoza could be good.
You would want the known versus the unknown.
Has Russ signed anywhere?
I don't believe so.
That's it for him.
I mean, he might be done then, unless there's an injury. He might be.
I mean, I don't know. I haven't thought about him in a while.
He's a terrible. You can't invite that into your locker room. Not if you have any kind of quarterback question. The only place you can invite him is if it is like a rock solid quarterback situation.
A name just went right through my head, and I'm gonna have to say it, guys, because he's holding us hostage. He's holding my friend.
Steelers.
He's holding my friend hostage yet again for the
He's
second
already been there.
offseason.
He's already been there.
But he told me in January he's not going to draw this out.
Which again, Brooke Pryor, my great friend, has already told me he's gonna do it again. She's gonna be on some vacation in June, and he's gonna decide, oh yeah, I guess I will come for mandatory mini camp or whatever it is, or training. Like, okay, I guess I'll sign. But the name that went through my head is, what if Aaron Rodgers is like, you know what? I actually don't want to get hit by Will Anderson again because that sucked in January. I guess if you're the Steelers, do you call Russell Wilson?
By all means, go ahead.
The text line saying he signed with the Savannah Bananas. 3 in a row.
Drew Aller, Will Howard, QB competition, baby.
Please.
Let's go.
Thank you.
Yikes.
Oh, he did.
North. Yes.
Yikes. He was.
I think Drew
just
Aller's going to
yesterday.
stink, by the way, if he ever plays.
Well, if he can get healthy, just like Garrett Nussmeier. Wow.
At Yankee Stadium yesterday.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, you know, hey, live your life, man. By the way, he should go into the Hall of Fame. I am
Russ?
Yes. I am
1-time Super Bowl winner, 2-time appear.
And a better quarterback than Eli Manning. Full stop.
Now, he won't be first ballot. You're not
not
for
first
that
ballot.
By any means.
But I think Eli Manning's getting into the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, same.
But I think Russell Wilson's a better quarterback.
I think Russ should get in as well. I just wondered, do you think, look, we just went through this a couple months ago. Obviously, the voting's a mess right now for the Hall of Fame. But do you, for fans, I think the last couple of years have soured. But did it sour, like, with people that are voting on this, did the last 4 years sour enough of his career? I don't think it should have. But the way people talk about it now is so different than the way we did 4 years ago.
Guys, the tapes. We got the internet. We got YouTube, guys. He was incredible, especially given his size. Because before Drew Brees, there was nobody else. It's Drew Brees and it's Russell Wilson and maybe Kyler Murray if he can figure it out, obviously with KOC in Minnesota. But in terms of quarterbacks who were dynamic, who could lead you to game